2023 wasn't a good year for the Carolina Panthers, but I'm trying to make 2024 a better one for myself. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including keto options, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Skip that overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door, and they're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means more time for you. Head to factormeals.com/C350 and use the promo code C350 to get 50% off. That's code C350 at factormeals.com/C350 to get 50% off.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
Take a seat on the couch. Take a seat on the couch, Carolina Panther fans, as we fall again, 31-14. The Carolina Panthers, in a cold Buffalo climate, get coldly walked to the door, and our expectations of, I don't know, anything good get frigid. The Carolina Panthers lose 31-14 on the road to the Buffalo Panthers. The Buffalo Bills. And basically, it is a typical story for what the Carolina Panthers are. A offense that is offensive because their offensive line is offensive. And Amir Abdullah is the play of the game. The butcher, baby. Amir Abdullah. Isn't that his name? I hope it's his name.
Yeah, Amir Abdullah.
Good Lord. You are joining the C3 Panthers post-game. I'm Tony Dunn. And I have had a lot of sauce because this is depressing. Cody Lashney, my wheelman. Welcome back to the C3 Panthers postgame show.
Tony Dunn, I predicted the Panthers to lose by 14. My expectations were on the ground. I didn't expect anything. I know that the Panthers are going to get their ass kicked when I woke up this morning. And I'm like, you know what? I don't care, man. It is what it is. I'm just going to enjoy watching football. And yet here I am, pissed off to my fucking core that Matt Rule is still our offensive coordinator, that he is still masterminded this terrible offensive line, and that he continues to put Cam Newton in a position to get his ass kicked every single time we play. It's depressing. It's upsetting. But listen, this is the YouTube therapy session. You already know what time it is. We do this with the best Panther fans in all of YouTube, Tony. You already know them and love them. We got our guys Kevin Boshoven, AJ Lindsey Drew, Grim Reaper, Jay Sue, Jay Prey, Lance Kubiak, Sarah Taylor, Roosevelt Mongo, Vincent Leidig, my brother, Underground West, Zach Rhodes, Tony Dunn. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
It's sobering watching this Carolina Panthers team. I tell you that. Is that you have to have a lot of drink to be drunk when those mugs are trying to sober you at every turn because of how bad it is. It's pretty awful, but probably expected. The Bat Daddy, the Stat Daddy. How you doing, Greg?
Sunday as usual, climb my hill.
Sunday, not fun day.
Yeah, it's gotten to the point where I'm not even worried about missing the game. Like, I listened to the first half because I was building a pen for my new chickens, and I just watched the second half, and I was like, oh man, I could have missed the second half and been just fine.
Man,
it's just not exciting to watch anymore.
First half.
I honestly got to the point where I needed Buffalo to score at the end because I was like, this game's over. I just need Buffalo to cover. for other betting purposes. I need Buffalo to cover. So
I'm convinced that Cam Newton threw that final interception to just be like, fuck it, let's go home.
Honestly, I kind of felt that way too. Yeah.
I think Sean McDermott went for it on fourth down instead of kicking the field goal because he took the late line. He was betting against the live line. He took that live line like my boy took. And he was like, shit, man, if we only win by 13, I ain't gonna cover. Yeah. And these mugs, man, they go for it on fourth down to put us away. Like, what was that about? I want to know that. They were up, what, 3 scores at that point? Or a field goal would have put them up 3 scores and they went for it? I want to know why that is. Is that McDermott trying to make a fool out of us? Is that Matt Rule just being made a fool? Man, it's tough. The Carolina Panthers look horrendous. And I still come back to this is why I did not want Cam Newton on this team, homie.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Because this is like his reputation, his image will be besmirched, whether or not he is good or bad by the Carolina Panthers. And I think Cam Newton's shoulder may be cooked, bro.
Yeah. I think he may be done.
I hate to say it, man. It's not. And I'm just saying it's not what it used to be. I don't need it to be not what it used to be. Unless it's just his throwing motion that does this, dude. His throwing motion, you're like, man, he's about to wind up and let a missile, and then it goes.
Yeah, but then again, and like here comes the fucking horde of people in the chat room. Oh, here goes Cody again, defending Cam Newton for being inaccurate. How do you judge Cam Newton when every single time he has to throw a fucking football, there's like 2 guys in his face ready to crucify him, man? Every
good point.
He's being lit the fuck up. I don't know how anyone can judge Cam Newton in this vacuum, man. Like maybe his shoulder isn't what it once was, but you're damn
it's certainly not what it once was.
But, like, you're damn sure not gonna know if he's. You damn sure don't know what he's going to be capable of if the receivers aren't running the proper routes. If the fucking offensive line continues to be a turnstile. Look, man, I was watching the game with my buddy Vince. He's in the chat room right now. And, he watches the Panthers basically when I watch the Panthers. And he's watching the offensive line. And we're sitting there laughing our asses off, man. Because even to the untrained eye, you can look at the offensive line and absolutely tell that they're getting blown up on every single fucking play, man.
It's offensive.
It's never ending.
Offensive. It's
never ending.
It's insane. And no, it is insane. But look, is that we can continue to excuse. It's not excuses. Not making excuses. Matt Rule is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's terrible. I don't know. And you know what? Even if he's not terrible, I can't wait any longer to find out if he's not the worst. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that's one thing. But when it comes to Cam, bro, I love Cam Newton. You got to run him. You got to put him in some better positions. Why are we not rolling him out, using his mobility, throwing the ball a little bit, bootleg? What was it? The fourth down play?
Or a screen pass?
Yeah. And you're not playing to your strengths. But at the same time, Cam Newton's windup is gotten progressively. I mean, he's always had kind of a long throwing motion because he is giant, right? The bigger you are, like it's going to take longer for that. It doesn't look there anymore. And I'm not saying that he can't be a professional quarterback, but you have to admit that the ball is not coming out like you want to see
even on that
not like what it used to be, not what it used to be, but
even on that screenplay, Tony, you realize that if he would have thrown that ball to where Robbie Anderson was, that's a pick 6 going to the house. I know what play you're talking about. On that fourth down where he throws that bubble screen. Yeah, everything was wrong about that play. You shouldn't have been throwing a bubble screen on fucking 4th and 1. That's number one. But then for him to throw that screen pass, if he would have put that on Robbie Anderson, that's a pick six going the other way. And it's like people want to say,
"Oh, well, it's not even about whether or not Cam is good." First, I've always said that Cam's game is going to have to evolve, right? And strangely, in the irony of me thinking about what it would have to evolve to be is that I didn't think it would be. We need to change his passing first. You thought it was going to be like, let's run Cam less, let's protect Cam more. But sadly, this is actually what I would do with Cam. Like, we need to run him more. We need to run him more. You know where his game needs to evolve is in the passing game, not in the running game. The run game is fine, and he is deadly still. But I'm telling you, this is like he's going to have to. It's just a kind of a sad thing to see where he has become a shell throwing the ball, but can run the ball better.
And then we're always going to be having these conversations like now at large, because the Panthers are so bad, the narrative is going to be, and I already see it here in the chat, Cam Newton's washed up, Cam Newton's done, Cam Newton doesn't need to be playing quarterback, Cam Newton's just a running back, Cam Newton's inaccurate.
If he saves the rules job, I'm going to cry.
You have, like, now that Cam Newton has returned, all of the people that have had all these narratives about Cam Newton forever, like they're just going to feel vindicated. I told you. That's who Cam is. That's who Cam Newton's always been. Meanwhile, the offensive line, I don't know if it's ever been worse. I don't know if it's ever been worse. Is there
a worse guard in the history of the Carolina Panthers than John Miller?
How about Cam Irving? Cam Irving looks
he's a tackle.
Terrible.
They all look horrible. It doesn't even matter who it is. If you're on the line, you look horrible. It's like they're running through tackling dummies. To be honest with you.
Somebody said to me, I asked this, is John Miller the worst guard in history? And somebody hit me up with the like Simone Fua or whatever. And it was like, I thought about that guy being the worst, but even John Miller is worse than him. He is so bad. He got a 0 a couple of weeks ago on Pro Football Focus or whatever it is. Is that what it is? Pro Football Focus? Mm-hmm. That where they do the rankings or whatever. He got a 0. A 0. How do you get a 0? He didn't even put his name on the test, Cody. And today he got he better not get a 0. He better get a negative today. It was awful.
And then here again, I'm already seeing clips from the press conference. Matt Rule saying our inability to throw at a high level is what's.
Oh my god!
He has no idea what he's doing. And look,
all right, he's gonna go. I'm done.
Urban Meyer was fired a few days ago. And I want to give credit where credit was due. I was watching Daniel Jeremiah talk to Rich Eisen, and he said the problem with these college coaches is that they come in here looking to show you how much they know. Instead of adapting to the NFL game and trying to learn and get up to speed and understand the differences between a college football season and a pro football season, like Matt Rule's trying to come in here and flex and show you that he can take all these trash offensive linemen and make them into a good player.
Man, he's pulling a Dave Gettleman on us where you're trying to play golden eye with pistols only.
Real quick.
You're only trying.
Real quick. Roosevelt Mongo for the $5 says another losing season with David Tepper. We're going to touch on that, Roosevelt. That's a promise. Go ahead, Tony.
First, thank you for your support and for the people that are listening right now and a part of this very lively chat room. You are part of the C3 Nation, which is Building Panther Nation, and we are here on the ground dealing with this garbage. I mean, we are trash. We are picking up the trash right now. We are recycling and trying to reuse, recycle, and whatever. Because it takes a lot right now for Panther fans to be optimistic. Yeah. And I mean, like, where do you want to go to? Let's talk about this. Actually, you can take two ways to attack this conversation. I'll let you figure out how you want to do it. What is one thing about Matt Rule that should, or that you could point to for being the head coach next year? Or what is one thing good about this team right now? Like, find something. Find a good thing about this team. What would you say the defense played well today? Actually, I would give them that. I'd say the defense played all right today.
But it's
all
like,
right.
why does our
right.
defense?
I'm fighting to find an answer.
Yeah.
Why does our
really
defense? But why does our defense only look good in games where we have zero offense? Like in the games like Washington,
they didn't even look good today, though. They looked okay.
You know, like even in the games that the Panthers' offense is okay and we're moving the ball, the defense just falls off a cliff. So it's like this tough ass defense that we supposedly have, it only shows up when the Panthers are getting their ass.
We were
kicked
good on third down.
Did you see it at the end of the
third down today?
At the end of the game too, when there was like when we had our last drive before Cam threw the interception, they were showing the stats. We had 10 more yards of offense than Buffalo did. We had one more first down than Buffalo did, and we had the ball 3 more minutes than they did. We were down 10 points. Like we technically played, like on paper, played a better game than they did. And we got our asses beat. Up to that point, we did at least. So it's crazy.
Why is that? How is that possible? Think about that. Like, tell me how that is possible.
One was the kicking. We were down 10. You could theoretically say we could have had 6 more points with 2 field goals. So that changes things. That makes it a 4-point game. So, but I don't know, man. Carolina finds a way. Carolina finds a way to lose.
Where is the worst part of this game today on? I think it's got to be the offensive line. Like at the end of the day, is that the coaching staff is like, how do you prepare when you are terrible on your, like what could they have done? Actually, maybe that is the exact answer, Cody, is what they could have done is not put out that starting 5.
Yeah, but
if it's the worst offensive line we've ever seen in history,
but what's the other
history? Then how could it be any worse if you were trying to get the reps?
It feels like he's trying to sabotage the football team. Like the entire world can see Cam Irving and Trent Scott and John Miller get their asses kicked all up and down the football field. Yet Deontay Brown didn't even dress today. Didn't even dress. Wasn't dressed. Hey, how about this? Brady Christensen dressed
with a backup
on the sideline the whole fucking day.
He didn't play.
Didn't play. He wasn't on the sideline the whole fucking day.
Is this a purposeful tank?
He's inept.
Are they tanking and trying to make?
I think
that doesn't deserve his job.
I think Matt Rule is trying to weasel right now into saying this is my quarterback got hurt. I had to rotate these guys in here. I got a Cam Newton who doesn't have the shoulder strength and isn't the passer we wanted him to be. And the offensive line didn't hold up because we had tons of injuries and tons of rotating these guys. I think Matt Rule is trying to use this bad offensive line to save his job.
That's a really good point. I didn't think about that. You might be absolutely right.
I mean, because if he is like, why wouldn't you try to get a little bit better? Why would you put the worst offensive line out there and then tell us that's the best we have to deal with? Like, we're sitting here trying to wonder if there is a worse offensive line in the history of the team than this year. Well, and you won't put youngins in there.
The question is, though, is he trying to do that so that way because he knows he's getting fired and that way he has an excuse, or is he trying to do that as an excuse not to get fired?
I think it's the latter. I think it's the latter.
He's trying to make it look like, hey, I'm a good coach, but we don't have the personnel, we don't have the guys.
That's what I think.
Football team, and again, it goes back to David Tepper. that old fucking Scrooge, if he doesn't look at this football team and realize that Matt Rule is the cause of all these problems, then he has a bunch of yes men around him. David Tepper has a bunch of yes men around him who are afraid to tell the guy that spent $2.5 billion on the football team that the coaches that he hired are the fucking definition of ineptitude. You have good young players on your football team that can make a contribution to help you win football games right now, and you refuse to play them. Ever since we've been having this conversation about Brady Christensen, other NFL players have come out on record and said, yeah, dude, the short arm thing is bullshit. It's absolutely bullshit. Jordan Gross, we played a clip on here the other day of Jordan Gross talking about how there are techniques to overcome the lack of arm length at the left tackle position. But Matt Rule wouldn't know that because he's never had the experience doing this kind of bullshit ever before. And so he's just going to continue to make these terrible decisions that are going to cost the Carolina Panthers. And he doesn't give a shit because he probably does feel safe.
Yeah. Hey, can we go back real quick? I want to show Sarah's thing. She dropped a love bomb for $20.
Oh, that's like. Right. Tell that.
She's talking about my own girl, Sarah. She's talking about Zylstra. Hey, I'm almost at the point where I would have rather given Zylstra the money we gave Robbie Anderson. Zylstra, I see Zylstra in more plays and making more plays than I see Robbie Anderson making. Contributing his team more.
Dude, I mean,
he climbed that ladder today. Caught that big, like that kind of typical pass from Cam that's like super high in a bullet, and he climbed that ladder today.
But by the way, thank you. I got so impassioned with my rant that I was going to completely miss on Sarah Taylor's super chat. I'm an idiot, dude. Sarah, we love you. Thank you. $20, man. That's love. That's love. And we never ask for money. We always appreciate it. That helps us to grow the show. Dude, I'm just at a loss for words, man. I don't know why I get so mad. You're right. I am enraged, man. I fucking hate this shit. I hate that we're always dealing with the same bullshit every single fucking year. And it doesn't even have to be this bad. It doesn't even have to be this bad. That's what's so frustrating about the whole thing, is that decisions could be made that could field a better football team than this in the draft, in free agency. I mean, all the way around. But Matt Rule continues to put his team in positions to lose all across the football team.
The number is 252-228-5098. That is 252-228-5098. And you can, I guess, vent your frustrations. Let's get into some cat calls and see what these cats got to say about this Panthers loss right now. Should Matt Rule be the future? Is Cam Newton's shoulder toast? And how do we move forward as an organization, Mr. Tepper? We know you listen.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use
I was in watching last 2 minutes ago. Imagine this Cam from the quarterback. Just the Darnold out there, or if PJ was out. He's a professional quarterback, and we're getting murdered because we have no O-line. Fired a lot of Matt Rule. Disgrace. David Tepper needs to go and have a good long hard look in the mirror. And eat some humble pie and keep buying up there on whatever you're doing. But they need to start again. We've said it for years. They need an O-line, but this can't do anything. And why can't our receivers catch? Zylstra can catch. Zylstra made this great high grab in the first or second quarter. They're all like, "Oh, look at that!" And it's like, "Well, yeah, that's receivers do. They're professionals. They want 13, 15 million a year." And seriously, Robbie.
All right, that's Rich from Kingston, calling from across the pond, bro. And you know what? That he spent money to make that cat call right there. Rich, you can always email that voice note to me.
Yeah,
God bless
what
you
is
for
that?
spending money to talk shit about what needs to be talked shit
Yeah,
about.
and he's not the only one. 19 EHF with the $5 says, I no longer trust the front office to get the talent right. A rebuild only works if you have the right pieces. Thank you,
That's
19 EHF.
Hey, and I want
man,
to ask.
genius point right there. Go ahead, Greg.
Well, I want to ask in the chat room. LBO says Rule should stay. Cam is no good. Period. And the players love Rule. What evidence do we have to show any of that is true? Just at a
Amen. I mean,
Show
you
me
know
the
what? We have
video.
some evidence that maybe Cam is
is
not.
not
You know
as
what I
good
mean? Like,
anymore.
yeah. I mean,
I'll
I'm not,
agree with you on
not
that.
going to dispute that.
Yeah.
Is that it? And I don't want to be the people. I always wanted to see Cam go out on a high note. So the saddest thing about him coming back to Carolina was putting him in a position that was not going to support that, right? And that was going to just continue to reaffirm the narratives that people have, the negative narratives about Cam Newton.
Yeah.
But again, what can you say about this coaching staff and this team? And for me, the thing is, this is not the in-game coaching that's the problem at this point. For me, the real problem that I have with the Matt Rule era is that we have to believe he is in majority control of football operations, and he sanctioned this team. He sanctioned this offensive, like he sanctioned this, and you can't bring it. I almost feel like Cam is meant to be a patsy. He's like the Jack Ruby of this season right now.
Well, on top of that, the evidence to the contrary continues to build up. So, by the way, I'm like perusing my Panthers Twitter updates thing. And Matt Rule on that 4th and 1 call defended the play call, said that it was the right play call, but poor execution, saying that it was a zone read and they should have handed it off or kept it. And once again, if you think a screen pass
gotta go, bro.
is the best play on the 4th and 1, evidence continues to mount to show every fan watching that Matt Rule doesn't have one fucking iota what he's doing. He doesn't know. There is no defense of him at this point. And if anyone in the chat room, any one of our listeners can make a logical defense of Matt Rule, we would love to hear it. Because none of us have yet to hear what that is.
Mm-hmm. And you know,
what's the most positive thing you could even say?
I know.
I mean, like, tell me the positive. And the only one is that they turned around the defense. And let's say, look, I mean, when you draft 7 defensive players and go and allocate all your free agency money to defense,
you'd better have a better defense, right?
No, I mean, I guess I'll give him that, but like, come on, what's the thing that he's done that's done well?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head at all, dude. I was talking to Sarah earlier during the game, and she was telling me what coach doesn't have a backup kicker. How do you not have a backup kicker?
You know
somebody
what
on the team that can kick
today is like, should they do something like hockey? You know that like hockey, they only have
designated kicker in the stadium,
like this back, like this guy that used to drive the Zamboni that
selling peanuts in the stands.
But he could be the guy that comes in, and he might kick for either team. I almost think that's a good idea, because watching them trying to get other how about this? Isn't that funny? It's almost like y'all make fun of us unathletic people when you try to make us do random athletic shit. You know, like if we went out there and we tried to make a 3-pointer, they call us down and they're like, oh, if you make this from half court, you win $50,000 or whatever. Watching those professional football players kick that football and it'd be like, like ridiculous.
Oh, dude, look, listen, I know Sarah Taylor's in the chat and she loves her some Brandon Zosha, but I'm pretty sure I could kick a football further than him, dude. Like it's bad at this point, man. And yeah, dude, like, how about this? Our best player went down before the fucking game started. Dude, you can't make it up, man.
Our best player. It's a metaphor.
Dude, so shout out to John Kitco Barrera. He sent me this picture. Look at the the photo. It's like, look at how Cam Newton is looking at Matt Rule like, ugh, like, bro, what the hell is you doing, man?
Yeah.
Dude,
Where did I
it's
come
so
back to?
it's
Yeah.
so frustrating that we're continuing to deal with this. And again, I'm not saying that Cam played great. No one on this football team played great. Like, when's the last time that someone played great on the Carolina Panthers and did something enough for us to win a football game? Like, it never happens. Not anymore. Not in the David Tepper era. But I don't know, man. I just don't know. There's so much bad to go around. We haven't even talked about Brian Burns yet. Brian Burns is
don't worry. We'll get to him. Let's go to the next call. We'll come back to him.
Let's do it.
252-228-5098.
Podcast brothers, how y'all doing?
What's up, G?
Man, that game was horrible, man. It started off good. Our defense is playing pretty damn good, but we're a fucking mess this year. I mean, the season is fucking lost. I got to the point it was hard to fucking watch, man. Gonzalez got fucking hurt before the game. How the fuck is that shit even damn possible? You know, nobody can make that shit up, man. So every time we scored, we had to go for damn two. I'm like, come on now, man. You couldn't put the punter in to kick a damn field goal. Matt Rule has lost his damn team. I've been saying that shit. We need to fire his ass. And I said it before, I say it again. I'm not a big Phil Snow fan. I'm not. I'm really not. I mean, that defense can play good shit, you know, but it seems like they'll start off good in the first quarter. The second, third, and fourth, they'll do good, man. It's like both them dudes are above their head. I say we get rid of both of them motherfuckers, man. We need to, man. We need to. Cam, he looks like he really doesn't want to be. He's getting frustrated. You can see it in Cam's face, man. He looks pissed, man. But I want them to win. I really do. We're not going to the playoffs this year, but hey, I'm still a Panther fan, man. Always remember, y'all, keep pounding. Carolina
pounding. Real quick, from 19 EHF with the $5. He says, when you sign bums in free agency, you deserve the product on the field. Do what the Chiefs did last year, sign and trade and draft Pro Bowl O-lineman. Thank you, 19. I mean, Tony, like, you and I were kind of, and me, you and Greg were kind of having this conversation before the show started. Like, Panther fandom is 100% on board the fire Matt Rule train. Like, I feel like whenever we were talking about firing Ron Rivera, like, there was a bunch of Ron Rivera defenders saying, nah, man, we can't do better than Ron. Ron brought us to a Super Bowl. Ron gave us, 3 NFC South championships. Like, at least people could make somewhat of a defense for Ron Rivera. But, Tony, who amongst us thought that, through however many games in the season we are right now, that pretty much unanimously all of the Panther fan base would be calling for us to fire the head coach?
The answer is no one. Because we have said this ad nauseum on the podcast, is that at the beginning of the season, we thought there would be no scenario, or actually, I would say this. I thought there could be no scenario where it would be so bad this year that Matt Rule would not get a third year. But at this point, I am scrounging for anyone to make an argument of why he should get a third year. It has been so bad. It's so bad right now. Nothing, and like, if you could point to one, I want someone to give me one reason why we should run another year with Matt Rule. And because this is like, you have to make a question. There's going to be a question at quarterback right away, right? So one more quarterback decision has to be made. And you have made 3 to 4, I can argue 4 bad decisions at quarterback, right? Like, so I mean, so you're going to give this guy one more decision at quarterback to try. Like, what is the reason? And don't give me this shit that we fire people prematurely. Don't tell me that. Like, give me one positive thing about this Panthers team. One positive thing that links back to Matt Rule.
The
And
only thing
I don't think it can. I don't think there is anything. I don't think there's one answer to that.
we only have one Matt Rule defender in the chat is LBO, and he says the players play hard for Rule. And I'm gonna need some. I'm gonna need
No,
more
they
than that.
don't.
Yeah, I'm gonna need
Yeah,
more than
like,
that.
what,
Like,
well,
what
like,
does
what
that
would be
even
the
mean?
example? Yeah.
Like, what does that even mean? Like, how do they play hard for him? And if they play hard, it doesn't matter if they don't know what they're doing, if they're not minding their gaps, if the guys are just not good at their job. Like, I think that we can make the case that John Miller is just not good at his job.
Yeah.
What do you
He's
guys
not
think
good
of-
at his
all right,
job.
all right, actually, can we talk about? Let's talk about some controversial things from this game. There was a roughing the passer where we had the to the ankles. There were three plays that the referees fucked us on today. Well, oh no, let's talk about this. The roughing the passer to the ankles. The other one was the personal foul. What do you guys think about the personal foul where Matt Rule was part of it? The tussle.
He needed to get the hell out of the way. Like,
It
what was he
wasn't
doing?
him, but
Why is he
no,
in the
like
middle of-
nobody should have gotten called for anything. They
No,
called
I
a
agree.
personal foul. And here is the thing on this is that I thought that was the moment where I was like, you know what? If I was Matt Rule, I'd get ejected from this game right then. Right then, I would have thrown such a shit fit about this penalty that was unnecessary. I would have gotten ejected from the game to rally the troops.
What if he just you see him just look at it, he's like, fuck it. And he throws the clipboard down and he just punches the guy like one of the guys with the helmet on.
Face.
You
Yeah.
start
Like,
to see,
what-
but like you also don't get the feeling that Matt Rule even cares that much.
Yes, I know. I do. I don't think he doesn't care. I don't get that feeling.
Hook
Real
into
quick.
it if we're ever
What
winning.
did you think about these penalties, Cody? Am I the only one that saw them?
I mean, no, listen, they're terrible. Like, I know that the NFL officiating crew is bad, but
They're changing
I
games, bro. They
maintain
change
consistent
games.
though.
The laundry changes the game.
Because
It
it's
does,
a television show.
If that, okay, what I'm saying though is that if that officiating crew was perfect, we still lose by 14. Like we're still losing to the Buffalo, and like that's why like people might think that I let the refs off easy. It's like no, I know them screaming into the void about referees. Like yeah, every day ends with a Y, and NFL referees fucking suck. It's like death taxes and referees blowing calls. I know that. And I'm not going to ever be like, oh, well, the Panthers won or lost because of the referees. No, we fucking didn't, dude. We didn't because we're a bad coach football team on every day that ends with a Y. Now, shout out to 19EHF funding this therapy session today. We definitely appreciate you, man. He said they've tried to have it both ways. You can't be in a rebuild and push for the playoffs. We have no quarterback or O-line. And y'all were thinking playoffs? Oh, it's almost.
This is the thing. This is the real point. That's the real point of my criticism of Matt Rule. Is that and people who are like, oh, you got to give him time. I would be happy to give someone time who was trying to build. He is Bob the Builder, and he's not good at it. He's the worst builder. And we are not built on last year. We've regressed from last year.
And
that's the thing. Is I want to build. I don't need more wins. I didn't need us to win this game today.
Mm-hmm.
I did not need us to win this game today to be happy. What I needed to see was a team that was better put together.
Yeah.
Particularly on that offensive line and the quarterback play going forward. Like we don't look like we are getting better from week to week.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, we were talking playoffs and everything with the rebuild, but we did start 3-0. So at that point in time, it looked like we were a playoff team. And up to about last week, we were still in the hunt for a wild card spot with these new wild, even with how bad we are. So
you can't get too hard on with 3-0, right, Cody?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, 3-0.
At the end of the day, I mean, like, yeah, it's like a good start. But you are so far away from the goal line.
Yeah.
It's the football that matters the least. Is the early season football. Because look at the Chiefs right now. Remember earlier this season it was like,
People
oh,
right
the Chiefs,
what about the Green
the
Bay
Chiefs
Packers
were
after
gone.
week 1?
Yeah,
After
dude.
week 1 got blown up by the Saints, and people are like, done.
You
Donezo.
don't win the Super Bowl in September and October. That's
Right.
not when you do it. So yeah, that 3-0 doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean shit at all. Thank you to R. Dan Jr. for the 199. It says we got players, but they quit on rules, dumb moves. And again, like I think that the Panther players have quit on them. Now, granted, no one who is employed by this organization is going to get up on the microphone and say, yeah, we just don't like Matt Rule that much. We don't play too hard for him. No one's going to do that, but we can easily be left to infer as to what's happening in this locker room, man. There's no belief
They're
in what
getting
they're
frustrated.
doing.
You can see the frustration
Sure.
is setting in. Look, I want to thank all of you listening to the C3 Panthers podcast. Over 180 people right now. Thank you for the people that have donated. Sarah Taylor, who was last. Hold on, I won't want to miss that.
19 EHF. We got R. Dan Jr.
Yeah, thank you so much for the monetary support. We appreciate that. You can find ways to support us in the show notes and stuff like that. But all you got to do is hit the thumbs up button, baby. Smash the thumbs up button. That's the biggest thing you can do. You can call into the show at 252-228-5098, and you can participate in that chat. The more community we build, that's the support that we ask all the people, and that is for free. And we thank you very much for the people that have donated monetarily. Let's go to the next call and see what people want to talk about. We want you to call in. Is Matt Rule a fool? Does he not have the pieces though? Is he building, and does he just need more personnel? Can Cam Newton be a bridge quarterback? Is his shoulder toast? And how do we look towards the future? I want you guys to tell us all of that on the cat calls. 252-228-5098.
What it do, boys? It's your boy Mike, aka Supreme Leaders.
What up, Mike?
What's up, man?
Look, Supreme Leader, he don't even got it in him anymore.
Can you blame him?
Nope.
Best way to summarize it up is that O-line is fucking garbage pail kids trash. Straight trash. That's rough.
Dude, he's in a tough place right
make
now.
it to the end of the season.
And we know Supreme Leader's calls, bro.
Yeah.
This is different.
Done.
Somebody check on him.
I am done for the season.
Mike, we love you, bro. Hold on.
That's scary. They're gonna whoop us. Let's finish it out and see what happens, because I'm pretty sure everybody else is officially checked out now. That was
yes.
Hold on, brother. Hold on. If y'all know this caller right here, that's troublesome, man. Someone check on Supreme Leader, please. Next call.
Hey guys, it's Joey again.
Again.
And Matt Rule, Matt Fool, Matt Tool, Rat Mule,
Matt Stool,
whatever else you want to call him.
Matt Tool
is a bum. And yes, it was me that sang that song earlier, in case anyone's wondering. But yes, he is a bum. And
we missed the song.
More stupid penalties. And these aren't penalties you just get because the officiating sucks. No, these were penalties you get because your coach is a stupid fucking idiot. And it's just a mountain of bad luck. Of course, the Panthers would have Zane Gonzalez go out with a quad injury during pregame warm-up. Yeah, no kicker. But then again, if we had a kicker, would we have won today? For real, would we have won if we had a kicker?
No.
I mean, I don't know. Cam played a really good game.
No, he didn't.
No, I don't.
Mhm.
He didn't throw. Oh, he might have thrown a turnover at the end. I'm not sure. But
He didn't play a really good game. Come
Cam
on,
Newton did
Joey.
everything he could to keep us in that game, and everyone else, it seems like, except Gross Matos, who had a
He played a good game.
Brandon Zylstra, the offensive line and the coaching staff, and some of the defense did everything they could to lose us the game. So that's the story of the Carolina Panthers. Anyway, guys. Wow.
So, by the way, at the press conference, Cam Newton just spoke, and they asked him, like, what do you make of, Matt Rule saying that the passing attack has not been very good? And Cam refused to throw anyone under the bus. Basically, is taking the high road, doing like Cam Newton always does. Yeah, doing like Cam Newton always does, always will do. And I don't know. I just, and again, I'm doing the post-game show right here, so I'm not like listening to like all the questions being asked. But man, like I really wish. Did y'all see a few weeks ago when one of the Buffalo Bills reporters was talking to two of the Buffalo Bills and they asked a question and it pissed them off? Did anybody see that?
Yes, it was about how they got ran over by the New England Patriots.
Yeah, and they asked something along the lines.
Do you feel like embarrassed that you got beat up at a historic rate?
But by the way, is that an unfair question?
Not at all.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's kind of like a dick question, but
it's a dick question, but it's not unfair.
Dude, I'm a dick. I don't give a fuck. Like if I'm that reporter, I want to ask questions that tell me that you care about this. I would be to Matt Rule. Matt, with this offensive line underperforming as bad as it is, at what point did you think a guy like Brady Christensen or Deontay Brown might see some reps in the lineup? And just like he could try and clown me or say something dumb or say that my question is bad, whatever. I'm still going to get that answer from him. I'm going to see what kind of emotion that invokes from him. Like, I want our Panthers media.
Actually, I don't think that's a dick question. I think that's a legitimate question at this point. When you look at one of the worst, like it's like this offensive line is so offensive. It's like historically offensive, right? And we've watched some really bad offensive lines as Carolina Panther fans. So people coming out and saying this is the worst offensive line we've ever seen, and you can't really argue with them. You know what I'm saying? Like there is a question at that point is that why are we not playing those other guys, and why are we not even playing those other guys? If they are not better than these motherfuckers, why did you draft them? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we're looking at the worst of the worst people.
Yeah.
And you're trying to tell me, oh, the other guys, they're not ready. Like, well, how could they not be more ready than this?
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to listen to somebody make the argument like that he doesn't have Matt Rule doesn't have the players to be successful because he put those players in that position. And if you're going to make the argument Matt Rule doesn't have it, then you can make the same argument Cam Newton doesn't have it.
Ding, ding, ding. That's why he's going to be fired because the people that want to keep him for another year is, look, I understand like the fear of like you committed to something and then you didn't give it enough run to really find out, but we're not overreacting at this point.
No,
we're not overreacting. It's like Matt Rule created this reaction. He set up the opportunity for us to be in the building process and they did not build. That's the thing is that like last year, if you say, oh, he turned around the defense, this and that, he did not work to turn the offense around in a similar get young, get fast type mentality.
Right.
He tried to do something different outside of his comfort zone, or maybe not out. I don't know, but that's the whole point. The whole point is he's not a good builder. He is a fraud of a contractor.
Well, the more eye-opening part about that is he did focus on the defense, which is fine if you do that and decide to go with that, but it's not been successful. So obviously he messed up on it.
And by the way, so today, now he takes every opportunity to take pot shots at Cam Newton being bad at his job, opposed to Matt Rule being bad at his job. How about this? Panthers had 227 yards of offense today, but 275 net yards. That means Cam Newton was responsible for their 2 touchdowns and one of their 2-point plays. He was relentlessly under pressure all day, and yet still Matt Rule wants to throw him under the bus. Again,
and
I'm not.
This is have we not put? Look, I know we haven't won games since Cam came, but have we not been more offensively potent than or productive than we were before?
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, is like we've scored more points with Cam Newton behind center than we did with the other guys before him.
Yeah, we went 9 quarters without a touchdown before he came back.
I know.
Right? And then the first game back, he scored 3 touchdowns.
And I know he threw a pick 6, and it's not like trying to say Cam Newton is the answer, this and that. What I'm trying to tell you is that the problems are bigger than quarterback. They're bigger than the quarterback.
Imagine if he had just 1.5 more seconds, 2 more seconds behind the line to get.
Imagine if we had a guard who was not as bad as John Miller. He's the worst in the history.
Hey guys,
hold on. No. All right, next call. Let's go to some calls. I'm pissed.
Hey, listen.
I can't even deal with it.
I see it on Twitter. I see it on C3 chat. I see it everywhere. People scream to replace the quarterback. We need a better quarterback. Hey, wake up, you fucking morons! God damn, motherfucker! Can't you people see fucking nothing? It don't matter if you have Tom Brady or a young Peyton Manning or even Joe Thomas. It doesn't fucking matter the fucking quarterback you got. As long as this offensive line and Matt Rule are who they are, you suck. And you're not going to be any fucking good. It don't freaking matter who you put a quarterback or running back or your offense or your defense or your wide receivers or your tight ends or even your offensive coordinator or head coach. Till you replace that offensive line, you suck.
I like it.
And right now, they suck. He hired him. He paid him. He got them all on there. That's his offensive line, and nobody else's.
Tell them, Ken.
Hey, you all have a great day and enjoy yourself.
That's the
I love how he ended it.
He channeled his inner G baby, which he hates. He hates.
I love it, man. Hey, Kenneth brought the heat, man, and he's right, man.
He's 100% right.
He's 100% right. 1,000% right.
The problem about this is when people say we should keep Matt Rule for another year. Is I want to be a team that has enough faith in the people that they brought in to give them that leeway, that leash. But I agree with Kenneth right there. Is like Matt Rule created this bed though that we are in. There's no one to blame it on but him. So much that do you believe that Scott Fitterer should be associated with how bad we are? And I feel like most people are like, no, like he kind of walked into something. He probably had to kowtow to Matt Rule a little bit.
Yeah, but you know what it is about Fitterer? It's like now going forward, he has more doubts than he has people believing in him. Like,
sure.
The fact that he's a first-year GM, like we're stuck in a rock and a hard place because it's like we haven't really seen a whole lot of him to know whether or not he's truly worth being fired. But you can say that, hey, we had that inclination about Matt Rule too, and look how true that ended up being. So it's like, man, if we have an inclination that Scott Fitterer is not the GM that we think he is, then yeah, maybe we should cut the cord, sooner rather than later. The problem is, like it always is David Tepper going to be able to swallow his ego enough to admit that not only was his head coaching hire the wrong move, you already fired Joe Brady, but now you're going to do the same thing
it's all
with
over.
Scott Fitterer? Like, is he going to say, okay, and the GM that I just hired, I'm now kicking him to the
Nah.
curb? Like, it's not happening.
You can't. I don't know. Is that you? Then you shouldn't have hired him in the first place. How about that? Is that you should not have hired Scott Fitterer? And I do really believe that Tepper is trying to play people against each other a little bit.
Sure.
And what I mean by like when he brought in Fitterer as like a counterbalance to Rule, and remember he's like all three of us. I'm the tiebreaker. Remember he said that? He said I'm the tiebreaker between these two guys or whatever. I don't think that Matt Rule was particularly over ecstatic about Scott Fitterer's hire. Like he didn't come out just glowing about how it was a reluctant discussion.
Or Cam Newton too. Same thing.
I don't know. Actually, I think that he knew Cam Newton was his out.
Well, so the question is then, are we saying that like certain people are making certain decisions? Like there's not one group of people in control. It's a bunch of different people that are making different decisions against each other. It's like the Star Wars movies. You put different directors.
Well, but Tony, you said you've been watching. I know Tony has. Greg, I don't know if you've seen it yet. Have you seen the show Succession?
No.
Yes.
Yeah, to me, it's kind of like that, where everyone's fighting to prove that they have the biggest brain. Where everyone's like, oh, no, we can do this, 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 and this. Everybody's trying to ease up on Daddy Tepper and get into good graces. But I feel like Matt Rule has had things pushed onto him. I feel like you're right, Tony. I feel like Scott Fitterer was probably pushed onto him. But again, far be it from Matt Rule to tell David Tepper anything. And then I also think that Cam Newton coming back was a Dave Tepper thing, because Matt Rule and Phil Snow were the ones that said, oh, he has Sam Darnold has who was it? Matthew Stafford in him. He makes this Matthew Stafford kind of plays.
That was Phil Snow that said that.
But Matt Rule co-signed it. We heard that story from Matt Rule. So if they thought
that's Darnold's a Rule decision,
that's who he hooked his chain to, and then Cam Newton was forced onto him, and now it means absolutely nothing for him to come out and say, "Oh yeah, Cam Newton's holding the ball too long. That's the problem with the offense. Cam Newton holding the ball too long. Yeah, maybe he has to." It's so dumb, man. There's no leadership experience from this man at all. Literally at all.
All right, let's go to the next call.
Give Matt Rule one more year. Tepper gave him a 7-year contract for a reason. He needs more time, but Cam has to go. We need Matt Corral.
Ugh.
Was that the whole call?
That's it. I hope that's
to the point. Yeah, that wasn't Noah. That must have been a different kid. We appreciate it though.
That wasn't a kid. He was. I mean, he was a little. But here's the thing: is that we're gonna all right. So imagine that. Imagine we give Rule another year.
Because it is.
We give Matt Rule another year, and then we bring in a rookie quarterback. Imagine us going whatever that it's going to be and be awful, right? I mean, you're not going to start the rookie. Maybe you do, and then it's not going to be good if you start the rookie, unless he's like the best rookie ever. But imagine having a coach who gets fired next year be the guy that picked your quarterback the year before him. So you bring in a head coach and arguably maybe a new GM by that point, which would be scary. But still, imagine reconstituting all of that and spending your top draft pick on the quarterback that you might not love. That's what I think the continuity of the decision-making process is important. And I think that's why we continue to emphasize on this podcast why you should bring in the GM first. You bring in the GM who selects the coach, and then those people are tethered together.
Yes.
Right. But now what we're going to do is what are we going to do? We're going to keep Matt Rule for another year where his firing is kind of conditional on like crazy success. Like if he wins 6 games next year, are you gonna be like, oh, we should keep Matt Rule? You know what I'm saying? Like what would be the number that would make you all of a sudden confident in Matt Rule? Then he drafted your next quarterback, and then it's the back asswards way of building. You should not give a guy who's going to be fired the next year the guy that's going to pick your future quarterback.
Yeah,
who's missed on 3 quarterbacks already.
And Tony, one of the only things that I hear about maybe keeping Matt Rule for a 3rd year is that Ron Rivera got a 3rd year. That 2011 and 2012 were kind of bad seasons for Ron Rivera.
Bad comparison.
Yeah, a terrible comparison because at least you saw signs of life.
And you had a number 1 pick and a quarterback. A number 1 pick and a quarterback in your rookie
the
year.
Offensive Rookie of the Year.
And and he was your pick. You know what I'm saying? Like you came in together. It was kind of like Ron and Cam Newton saved Ron Rivera's job so many times. And I'm not saying that I love Ron Rivera, and I still think Ron Rivera is a better coach than Matt Rule all day long.
Oh,
sorry,
not even in the same stratosphere.
But what I'm trying to say is that it's kind of like what we learned with Arizona to a certain degree, is that whether or not Cliff Kingsbury is a great coach or a bad coach or a good coach, is that they brought both of these guys in. He made the Kyler Murray pick, and he's going to live and die with it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just makes sense, or like in the building perspective. Anyway, let's go to the next call. Chickens are climbing the fence.
Yeah, they were.
Why is this so quiet?
I feel like whenever we're talking about firing Ron Rivera, like there was a bunch of Ron Rivera. That's me. I hear myself. Nah, man, we can't do better than Ron. Tony, can you hear me?
Yes, that's not you.
Yes, it is.
Is it?
That's my fucking voice.
Wow, it is.
I know my voice. I literally just said that.
Did you call in?
No, I didn't call in.
Did you butt dial the?
Is calling in and recording you.
I mean, I'm kind of on the show, you know.
He said that
maybe there's a good impression.
Like, no, it's not. I've never heard your voice. Look.
Fucking garbage pail kid, trash, straight trash.
He's sad.
That's rough.
He might be drunker than I am.
So, dude, he's in a tough place right now. Them people. And we know for
All right,
it's like two people talking to each other. It's like they didn't even know they were on the cat call.
I know. I can't even tell. Like,
One of them sounded like Josh from Mass.
That's what I thought too. Next call.
Hey, Malcolm Flex here.
Yeah.
There were actually a couple of shows that I didn't even, get my name on.
Malcolm, what's up, bro?
This is officially team building and coaching hell. Like, to be honest, there were so many spots where I saw just the offensive line basically being a turnstile. You know, you got just pass rushers, just like several of them coming through. Quarterback never can set his feet at any moment during this game. And I'm just kind of thinking to myself, like, Jesus Christ, is this the worst offensive line in the league, or is this the worst offensive line in the league? Like, there's not even a pass or a run identity with this offensive line. Like, it's just bad at blocking in general.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got situations like the whole fourth and one, where, again, why do you call a screen when you literally got the best short yardage player in Cam Newton that can, at the very least, fall forward for a single yard? Like, why do you do that? You know, Cam's expression, that was all of us. And what really gets me is that all of the media and the hot take artists on social media were just like yucking it up at that throw, which is actually a smart football move for him to completely just throw it away from Robbie Anderson, because otherwise that's a pick six. But it just kind of tells you what the narrative is, and people are looking for this Carolina Panthers team to fail and for Cam Newton to fail. And Matt Rule in that press conference, man, I feel like he thinks that. Like, I think he reads social media and he knows that if he can just foist the blame on Cam, he can kind of save himself possibly. But the kicking situation, like, you don't even have an emergency kicker designated. The punter's unable to even kick, place kick. Like, what's going on, guys? Like, this team is awful. Like, make no mistake, and it's not even because of talent. It's just because of where you've got pieces and how you're sitting up here putting them. And yet we're sitting up here expecting Cam Newton to come in when, you've got a fourth down pass that's getting batted down because you've got that guard literally like 3 yards into the backfield. I don't know what to say. I really don't. But, at this point, if this doesn't get Matt Rule fired, I don't know what else will, because the team today looked.
We did, man. Malcolm, fantastic call,
Making
brother.
all good points. Yep.
Yeah, every single point that you made was incredible. And I'll add on to that, man. You mentioned the press conferences. How do you inspire any faith in your football team when they know that when you underperform, your head coach is willing to throw you all the way under the bus in order to save his own ass?
Mm-hmm.
How does that make people want to play for you? How does that build up a winning culture where people feel like everyone's on the same page? If you're the head coach, you are the face of the football team. You're responsible for every single thing that you see on the field. And you can't go out there and say, yeah, we're just not a well-coached football team. He made a great point, too, about how we don't have a designated kicker as a backup designated kicker. Like, what NFL team isn't prepared for their starting kicker to go down? Like, we don't even have the punter able to make kicks for us. It is 100% mismanagement. We are a bad coached football team. We're bad situationally. We're bad on the offensive line. We're bad on third downs. We're just bad everywhere. And that's 100% on Matt Rule. And you're not going to hear that.
Let's talk about what is good, right? Call in and tell us what is good. What is good about this team? What constitutes confidence in this team? What constitutes another season for Matt Rule? And that is where I continue to stand, where people are like, oh, don't be too pessimistic too early. I'm not pessimistic at this point. I'm trying to find optimism. Give me a point on this team where things are heading the right direction, and I can't find it. The number is 252-228-5098. Let's go to the next call.
What's going on, guys? My name is Ross.
What's up, Ross?
Yeah, it's another one of those weeks. Yeah. Just still the O-line, still the same issue. Hey, at least DJ had a nice catch, though. And, I mean, I think Cam played well. He did his best. He still looks like he can ball as long as he can have somebody around him to help him. It just gets aggravating watching the same game over and over again.
It's tough.
Like, what, third season in a row we're going to go 5-11, 5-12 now with that game? I mean,
that's a good point.
I'm just watching
it's like Groundhog's Day.
Take care, guys. Love your show. And bye.
We did not need a lot more wins. This is the thing, is I didn't need more wins. For the people that continue to tell me that Matt Rule is a builder of things, I did not need to see this Carolina Panthers team win more games than they are winning right now. 6, 7, I would have been happy. Yeah, sure, I would have liked 2 more. But at the end of the day, the problem that has persisted for the Carolina Panthers for more than a decade has been the offensive line, and it has gotten worse. Like, imagine telling a Carolina Panthers fan in 2018 that your offensive line was going to be worse than it is today. Try telling a Carolina Panthers fan in 2019 that your offensive line will be worse tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ. That's like telling what is that doing? That's like telling an autistic kid, I don't know. What is the equivalent of dashing someone's hopes?
It's like I don't know, like
I
telling a
almost said
starving
something. I told you I was drunk.
telling a starving person to come get some food at 10 in the morning, but then they come to get the food and they're like, we ran out. We don't have any more. You have to come by tomorrow morning. And it's the same thing all the time. By the way, shout out to one of the best C3 Panther fans that there is, Roosevelt Mongo,
Thank
for
you
the
very much.
$10. You know we love you, Roosevelt. He says Panthers
yes.
are missing a huge opportunity in rebuilding. Brady and Ryan will retire soon, and New Orleans will be looking for the future quarterback. What a fantastic point, Roosevelt, that at a moment in time where outside of Tampa Bay, you have two of our biggest division rivals having an uncertain future, not having a good offensive lines and quarterbacks and injuries. They're meandering around the same record as us, and the Panthers can't get out of their own fucking way, man.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's even more of a shout out to Ron Rivera. Missed opportunity, dude. It's terrible.
The fact that the Carolina Panthers have not drafted an offensive lineman in any of the first rounds over the past few years is ridiculous. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna back down. What do you say? You will die on that hill, Cody.
Oh yeah.
Right? You will die. I will die on this hill, no matter how good J.C. Horn and Derek Brown turn out to be. I don't care if they turn out to be the golden jacket players of whatever, right? Hall of Fame to the nth degree, is that it will not matter for the Carolina Panthers as long as they cannot run the ball effectively or protect the quarterback at all.
Right.
It just won't matter. J.C. Horn could be the best corner in the history of football, but if we have a shit offensive line, it will not matter for the Carolina Panthers. I am a Donald Trump backer now.
Oh Lord, don't say
when
that.
When it comes to football. When it comes to football, and when it comes to his policy of our borders, build that wall, bro. Build it. And we haven't tried. We haven't tried. We'll be like, oh, you crossed over our borders and you didn't even they didn't put nothing out there.
How about this? Russian defenders are like the border hoppers coming over to them, dude. Dude, I don't know how many other ways to say it. Like, I feel like if you were to give any random person a GM test, like if you were a GM, what would be the first ways that you would go about rebuilding a bad football team? And Tony, isn't it like common knowledge?
Fundamentals. It's the fundamentals.
Tell me if I'm wrong. Like, dude, isn't it the most basic way to build a football team is the offensive line, the defensive line, and the quarterback position? Like that's 101. How do you so neglect your offensive line, not just 1 year, not just 2 years, but
10
for years at a time?
It's not even there. Like I haven't noticed it being a problem. It's
too little, too late every time, man. And look, Gettleman fucked us on this. As Gettleman talked a big talk and didn't walk his talk, and he was the one that reacted to everything. He said, "Use free agency to set up the draft." And then he tried to do that, and then he released that. Remember when it all started with the Josh Norman joint, when he rescinded the franchise tag and then drafted all these corners? Like, he did the opposite of what he said. Then he'd be like, oh, it's all about hog mollies or whatever. And he didn't do it. And then on top of that, he goes and drafts Christian McCaffrey. It's too late. He starts trying to draft offensive weapons while it's too late. And now we're just reacting to everything, man. We have not drafted an offensive lineman in the first round since I've been doing this podcast. I'm pretty sure. Right? I
Dude,
started doing this podcast in 2013, bro. Haven't missed a Tuesday. Tell me the first round draft pick that was an offensive lineman. I might be wrong.
I think there was
first
one, but I'm
round?
trying to think.
First round. No, the most we did was Little, Moten, and look. And
Little is what I was thinking. He wasn't first round though. No,
Since I have been a fan of the Panthers, they have not drafted an O lineman in the first round.
And here's the thing that was all right. So, okay, you go, well, we're going to spend our money in free agency. The most we ever spent on a free agent on the offensive line was Matt Khalil.
It's hard to build the offensive line free agency.
Fucking sucked, though.
Yeah.
You cannot pay another thing I've learned this, and Paradis was another example of this, is you don't pay free agents who are coming off an injury.
Yeah.
Because you expect the rehab to be perfect. And yes, they are getting better. They're going to be able to play. They're ready for the field, but they ain't what they used to be.
Right.
Don't pay a motherfucker coming off of a surgery.
Right.
Don't.
I mean, it's also really hard to build an offensive line through free agency because, good offensive linemen are so few and far between. Most of the time, there's not a good one that's a free agent. And if somebody's getting rid of one, there's a reason they're getting rid of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
If you're going to try 100%. If you're going to try and build your offensive line through free agency, most good offensive linemen, if you're a football team, you don't let those good offensive linemen leave and go and sign other places.
Why would you?
You don't even let me.
Did you hear our Scott Fitterer said this? They asked him, like, why aren't you trading for offensive linemen? He's like, nobody wants to let him go. Of course they won't. They don't want to let him go.
Right. You have to draft him. That's
you got to pay Cam Irving money. Then he sucks.
Ryan Khalil. I mean, dude, can we talk about this? Like, people were online talking. People were talking about, is Cam Irving worse than Byron Bell?
Yes.
But
the answer is yes.
How about this? The fact that we have 3 left tackles that are in the Panthers Hall of Fame for dog shit left tackles, Byron Bell, Cam Irving, and Matt Khalil they were all turnstiles.
I think you know what? And what's funny about this is I used to talk the most shit about Byron Bell ever. But I think Byron Bell's better than those other 2 assholes you mentioned.
Yeah. Oh, Jeff Otah.
I think he's the least worst out of all of them. And that is that is the worst fucking thing. How about that, Matt Khalil? And fuck that. Matt Khalil fucked us, man. Not only did he make a fool of us, he took our money too. Shit was the worst. He's the worst out of all of them. I think he's worse than Cam Irving.
The fact that we signed him to so much.
Yes.
We ended up having to pay for him for so long. Yeah, that was a bad one.
It's like
the only thing about Cam Irving, man, is fuck that. You know what? It's not his fault. It should be Matt Rule's fault for not putting somebody else in other than him right now.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, what the hell? You just keep doing it. It looks so bad, Cody.
Captain
Sabo. Offensive line just collapsed. It's like everybody on the offense, even Cam Newton, expects it to be terrible.
Hey, I call Matt Rule Captain Save-A-Ho. Because that's always what he's trying to do. You hit the nail on the head, Tony, that he's trying to take these athletic guys that never quite panned out and try and build them up into something, because that's what you had to do at Temple and Baylor. Well, that dumb shit don't work in the NFL.
Right.
You don't
That's
have
not
to
how
do
it is.
And you don't have to do it in the NFL. You can just get good players.
But he wouldn't know, because he doesn't know the difference between coaching an NFL team and a college team. He thinks they're largely the same.
Bingo. Yep.
Let's see if this call is different or the same.
Hey guys, Chad down here in Charleston.
What's up, Chad?
Listening to the podcast, I haven't been able to call in a while, and understanding everyone wants Matt Rule fired, and I agree with that. I'm questioning why there's not enough blame to go around for Scott Fitterer. I honestly think he blew this draft. Terrible draft, let alone other moves. But if you just look at the draft, guys we could have taken, round one, we obviously know JC could be a great player, JC Horn, but Pat Surtain, stud. Quarterback, Justin Fields, could have got Micah Parsons, who's maybe the best linebacker in football already.
Yep.
Rashawn Slater. So
Rashawn
not
Slater.
just round one, though. What bothered me is this whole narrative that we should trade back to get players. Round two is the more painful one to look at. So we were sitting at, I believe it was pick 39, and we traded back to 57. Okay, to take Terrace Marshall. Correct, and I traded back to 59. Take Terrace Marshall. Between those picks, we traded back to take wide receiver in round two. Between those two picks, the 39 and 59, there was one. So there was Dylan Redoute to the Tennessee Titans. Tim Cosme to Washington. There's two offensive tackles. A guard, Aaron Banks to the 49ers. Guard, Jackson Carman, Cincinnati. Walker Little, offensive tackle, Jacksonville. Liam Eichenberg, offensive tackle to Miami. And the Bears took Kevin Jenkins, offensive tackle.
Yeah.
That
Creed
many
Humphrey
linemen went between those two picks. And we took Terrace Marshall, who, regardless of potential, you're looking at need, you're looking at guys that can play early. We passed on that many guys. So I think Fitterer, I think our draft was terrible looking back. I mean, nothing against JC. I think he could play, but, the guys we could have taken in the second round, we botched terribly. Just stay at that pick, take the top offensive tackle. Obviously, we take Christensen in third round. But again, why not double up there? I just think we handled the whole thing, and the running back later in the draft was terrible as well. So, not to mention some of the guys we passed up on. So just curious why Fitterer is not getting more blame. He, to me, has not had a good start, specifically with the draft, which I think was a complete bust. So glad to hear your thoughts. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Greg.
Oh, I was just going to say, the thing is, it's really easy to say all that stuff in hindsight with the knowledge we have now with the draft. I'm not disagreeing with him that didn't have a good draft. I would have preferred a different players in a lot of positions we were in. But it's easy to look back after you've seen the production that players have now and say, oh, we could have had this person, and we didn't, and we screwed up. I don't know, man. It's just, I think Fitterer, he's definitely not free of any blame. I'm not saying that at all, but you could say the players that he have could possibly perform differently if they had better coaching. Maybe.
True.
It's an argument you can make. I'm not there, so I can't really say anything. But it just seems like if I'm making the argument for the coaching, I would still put that more on coaching. We drafted good players. Nobody we drafted would really bust. I don't think the positions we took them in. It's just, it's his first. It was his first draft with us, right?
Yeah, that was his first draft with us,
first draft,
and I mean, listen, Fitterer definitely deserves a lot of the blame here. He's definitely not absolved of any of the blame.
Yeah, I don't know about a lot, but he's definitely not free of blame.
And my thing is this, to your point, and I feel like we always say this whenever we bring it up, but two things can be true at the same time. JC Horn can go on to be a shutdown corner that, terrorizes quarterbacks for the next decade, right? Fine. That could totally be a possibility. But it could also still be that even in spite of that we potentially missed on what might be going down the road a franchise quarterback. What we definitely have evidence for is a franchise left tackle in Rashawn Slater. Or how about this? A defense changing linebacker like Michael Parsons, who is burning up the NFL right now after we passed on Luke Kuechly. There are a bunch of players that we could have drafted that seemingly would have been a better fit for the Panthers and would have helped us out this year. But then again, even when we go back to, we should have drafted this player or that player, we don't even know that they would have been successful here. Rashawn Slater had the short arm syndrome too.
Mm-hmm.
What was the guarantee that we didn't draft Rashawn Slater just for us to kick him inside at guard? Mm-hmm. Now, granted, I still think we would have a pretty badass guard, even if he did play guard for us. But the fact that it stays the same, you're missing out on a franchise left tackle because you think that their arms are too short. And you know that's what moved him off the board for us out of consideration with our first round pick. They didn't like his arm length. No
I
good
don't
decision.
think that. I don't think that Matt Rule. I don't think Scott Fennerer had full control over the organization when
That's
he
the other thing. Yeah.
managing them. And I'm ready to give some blame to him too. You know what I'm saying? Like I think Greg, you said it was very eloquent, articulate when you said like it's not, and I can't repeat it, but basically it's not all on him. Like he's got some blame, but it's not on it. I think that this is Matt Rule's team.
Yeah.
And I think that free agency and the drafts, I would put more fingerprints on them to Matt Rule. So whether or not it's good or bad or right or wrong, like he's going to reap in the rewards and he's going to soak in the failures as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, is that?
Yep, he has.
And I almost wonder if he's too scared to pick. Sometimes I wonder, when you pick a Derek Brown or you pick who we picked this year, J.C. Horn, are you too scared to gamble?
Yeah, Matt Rule
You're gambling either way.
Like you know what is like, I wasn't ready to put my bet down on a large one, so I'm just gonna go red or black.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, it
that's
makes
a good
me
way to
feel
put it.
better.
Yeah, I
You
hear
know, like is that like is a less odds of losing? All right, let's go to the next call.
Matt Rule is a bum 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 bum.
This was his first call.
Why the fuck do we look so dumb, 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 dumb?
This is such a good call. I love it. Thank you. That's Joey the Blind Panther. That's a good one. That's a good one. Next call.
Fantastic. Hey, hold on, wait. Before you play it, we don't have the silky
Where
smooth.
is CK, by the way?
I don't know. We don't have the silky smooth stylings of CK on the podcast right now. But look, there's 188 people watching, 94 thumbs up. You know that you've at least had just as much, if not more fun, watching this podcast, watching us get upset, watching us bicker back and forth about the problems with this team. You have had just as much fun watching us as you have watching the Carolina Panthers, the past 5 weeks in a row. Hit the thumbs up. That's all we ask for. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the like and subscribe. We're on the road to 4,000 subscribers. Help us get there. Be a friend. Tell a friend. Help us get to, continue to grow C3 Panther Nation, man. We're going to continue to pump out the content. We're here all year round. So even when the Panthers are gone, our beautiful faces will still be here to entertain.
Don't be a bum 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 bum. Hit the tummy thumb thumb. All right, next call. Good Lord.
Lord, he was not as bad as Johnny Mayer. He's the worst in the history.
Hey guys, Joey.
All right, next call. Let's go. I'm good.
Hey, listen.
Who is calling? Am I calling myself?
No, someone is calling the show and they're recording the show in the message. Like that was you. That was you. You were just listening.
It sounded like it. All right. Yeah. I think. Let's hope this is not the same
Hey
one.
guys, it's Joey for a third time. I just wanted to talk about Scott Fitterer, and Scott Fitterer is the only reason why I could see, no pun intended, keeping Matt Rule for another year, and here's why. Because
okay.
given the
you're
limited
dumb.
that we have to fix this disaster that has been created, I mean, we don't have many draft picks. I mean, we don't have that much money. Like, we're not going to be that good next year anyway. So what you do is you keep Matt Rule, and you allow Scott Fitterer this off season to make to show what he's made of, and then you go into next year with Matt Rule, and you have two scenarios. One, Matt Rule has his third year magic, and I mean that's that. I mean, and then number two is Matt Rule just is Matt Rule, and he sucks, and he's a tool, and he's a fool, and he is.
And it's
he is
another
stool destined
year
for the
to
toilet,
learn the
and,
same thing we knew.
you know, he's a living meme, and he needs to go, and he'll probably go during the season next year if he plays like this, and so would Scott Fitterer. And then you could do it the right way and get a GM and a coach at the same time. But, I mean, who am I to talk to Tebber doesn't know shit.
I disagree
Anyway,
with
guys.
this entirely.
Wow.
I disagree with Joey 100% on this. Is that I just don't think that trying to find out who Fitterer is next year with a coach you don't believe in is the way to figure it out. And what I mean by that is like ultimately is that what happens if Matt Rule puts together a team that's just okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then you try, and then you fire him the next year, this and that. I want to have belief. I want to have confidence in the person that is leading me. And I think that this is that right now, I just don't feel, I don't feel any way where next year, like what he would have to go, like what would Matt Rule have to do in 2022 to make you feel like very confident? I would think this is that he's going to have to find an answer at offensive line and quarterback and create like a 10-win season.
Yeah, that sounds about right
there's
for
like
me. Yeah.
3 things, and that's impossible. All 3 things. That's a parlay.
I have to see them maintain momentum.
Man.
I have to see them maintain some level of momentum because every year, and like, dude, think about how we're going to be next
year. Where maintain.
Well, no,
where,
but I'm saying,
where
no,
is
but okay.
momentum?
You know, we started out 3-0, right? But we all agreed that was when football matters the least. But if we start out next year, like imagine this, right? Imagine the Panthers go 4-0, 5-0 next season. Like we're all gonna have it in the back of our heads. Wait a minute, dude. I've fucking seen this show before. Like I know how this ends. I've been to this movie theater before. If you're not ever, if you're gonna continue to build up our hopes, and then listen, they don't just let us down gently. When the Panthers shit the bed, dude, they shit all over the place, man. It's one of the most terrible falling off a cliff acts in football that you could ever see, man. It's like 0 to 100 is what the Panthers are. So, like next year, God, we would have to see so much, Tony. We would have to, like around this time of the season, we would have to know that we are very much in contention to win the NFC South. I'm not even wild card anymore. Even if you're in the wild card contention, that's not enough for me. I want us to be in contention to win the NFC South.
Yeah.
And we have to have an offense.
Most unfair shit ever. That's not going to happen, bro.
It's not, but you asked what we had to have.
The Saints and the Falcons are terrible.
Why do we even have to wait for that? That's not going to happen.
And I agree, and that's why I disagree with Joey on this call too. I'm with you, Tony, because the thing is, his mindset that he has is every time you hire a new head coach, you have to hire a new GM. Like he's linking the GM and the head coach together. They have to be, but it's not. It doesn't have to happen. Ideally, that would be a good idea, but it doesn't have to happen like that for things to work. You know,
right?
They just have to be on the same page. They have to want the same thing. That's the thing. It's like I said, Star Wars, different directors, different visions. See what happened. You know?
Yeah. I mean, what would you need to see, Tony? Because to me, I'm not the minimum is not enough anymore. I don't want we have to be looking to be well above 500 next year. Anything that's even remotely close to mediocrity, I want no part of it. I want no part of it. So we would have to be, like I said, for me, in contention to win the NFC South. And we have to have an offense that we can depend on third down to run the football or pass the football.
See, here's the thing, and this is why I know I'm ready to fire Matt Rule right away, right now, is because what I need to see is not victories. I didn't need to see wins this year. everybody has come at me and been like, "You're too hard on Matt Rule. You're too hard. You're too hard." But people have been coming at me. I did not need us to win more than 5 games this year. I didn't. It wasn't the W's. It was the direction.
Yo, Bridgewater
And it
just
was
went down and he's not moving.
it's the direction of the offensive line and the quarterback positions. And we have not come any closer to answering those questions. That's what I'm saying. Like, is that like it doesn't matter? All right. So if we win 7 games next year in the offensive line and the quarterback positions will not and cannot be answered next year.
Yo,
Like, I'm sorry. Like, I mean, and if you do answer it, it will be the most magician ass job I've ever heard of in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you go, if the Panthers' offensive line is good next year, that would be the greatest turnaround in the history of the world. It would be the greatest turnaround. And then
Hey,
you got to do the quarterback and wins. Go ahead.
No, Greg, are you still here?
I think he pieced out. What happened to Bridgewater?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. He made it seem like it was like terrible. I'll try and peruse and find
But
out.
that's my thing with Matt Rule is that I want to be an incrementally getting better guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't need Matt Rule to do something significantly awesome this year for me to want him to be my coach next year. The problem is like you neglect the most basic things of your philosophy. Like, you want to be a run team and you don't have an offensive line at all.
Yeah.
You ain't draft no offensive lineman, and then you don't play the ones you drafted. That's the thing is this. And today is a good example of this. Is John Miller is terrible.
Yeah.
He's fucking the most horrendous guard in the history of Panthers. And I don't like to say that because I'm just a fucking blogger. What the fuck do I do? But at the same time, is that why do you keep putting those horrendous ass players in horrendous positions? And at what point do we continue? Like, how am I being the asshole for saying that we don't want to keep doing that? That's what I keep saying, folks. For the people that want to give Matt Rule a 3rd year, call into the C3 Panthers podcast. The number is 252-228-5098 and tell me, give me one reason why Matt Rule should be the head coach in 2023. Because I go back to where Ron Rivera was in 2012, and I could give you reasons. I could give you strong Decembers. I could give you the grittiness that they play with. I could do the lack of personnel. But right now, I think Matt Rule is the number one problem with the Carolina Panthers. And that is something for a guy who usually tries to not blame it on the coaches. Next call, 252-228-5098.
Hey, this is Kevin from Charleston.
That's the one we just heard.
Drinking like Tony has been.
Oh, no.
And, you know,
I know.
Man,
people are buying me shots.
Cam, he needs to be a bridge to a franchise.
Greg Roman, bro.
He can't
Eric Bieniemy, bro.
Greg Roman.
Oh, we gotta debate my take.
Or something after this year. To be honest,
write that down.
Like, we have too many good memories of Cam to have him just be a bridge quarterback.
I know, it's so sad.
You know, like too many good memories. But yeah, I mean, to me, trade DJ Moore. He's overrated. Get a first if you can. Oh, but I don't know what else much to say. No, Cam is doing well, but this team can't have a well quarterback. It needs Hall of Famer just to be good. You know, I'm watching Hundley for the Ravens. You know, basically play like Lamar Jackson right now.
And it's like, wow, how can they do that, but we can't? It's just, yeah. Cam needs to go somewhere next year to actually be a good quarterback. Like Wentz. He went to a place where they had Jonathan Taylor. Like, Cam has nothing to work with, so he's not going to be good. He doesn't have the quick release. There's one thing if he had, the big arm, didn't have the big arm anymore, but still had the quick release. So he can be like Drew Brees or something from his later years, but, fuck it.
I want to talk about this comment from Tim Estes. And have you ever seen a season where there were so many batted balls?
Yeah, I mean,
it's like ridiculous. It's to the point where it's insane.
I mean, okay.
Every pass is batted down.
So, two things. People do this fallacy all the time that think that just because you're tall, that you shouldn't have batted footballs. Dude, watch any of the big guys. Josh Allen, Cam Newton, Justin Herbert. Everyone gets batted balls, and it has less to do with the height of the quarterback and more to do with defensive coaches know how to train their players that if you're not going to be able to get home on your rush, get your hands up, affect the throwing lane, try and bat the football down. And people are doing that. They're learning how to be effective in doing that. By the way, an update: Teddy Bridgewater, he was going for a first down, jumped over one of the defenders, landed flat on his face, and they ended up having to call out the ambulance to carry him off the field. He's it's bad. Drew Lock is in the game, and Bridgewater. I don't know if he was responsive or not, but it did not look good. Like he was motionless.
Never rooting for someone to be hurt in the NFL. Teddy Bridgewater, definitely not one of my personal favorites of football players, but gosh, we want him to recover swiftly. Good gosh. It's a violent sport, man. It's kind of like, what happened in that Thursday night game? It was the Fox last broadcast. Did you hear about what my man said? Not my man. I hate Joe Buck.
Joe, yeah, he was like,
but it's cold out there, and my man was having a seizure.
So I have the video, but I'm not gonna play the. Like, I appreciate everybody tagging me. No, I know everybody. I appreciate everybody tagging me on Twitter, that's showing me the Teddy Bridgewater video. But dude, the YouTube is so crazy now. Even showing something from an official broadcast, it's
We're getting in trouble. We get in trouble. But no, we don't want to. Man, I think that the Carolina Panthers would be better with Teddy Bridgewater right now, and that's hard on my heart, to say that for somebody who wasn't a Teddy Bridgewater fan. Don't ever want someone to get injured. And man, he's suffered a life-threatening injury on his leg earlier.
Yeah, man.
So prayers up, I guess, if that's a thing on the internet. Let's go to the next call.
Yep.
I think we get rid of Cam Newton, give Rule one more year, draft a quarterback with that first pick, and then go all on O-line later picks. And we sign O-line in the offseason. And then we develop the quarterback that we draft and probably trade Sam Darnold. And if Rule's not good by then, you fire him and get a new coach. Maybe if the enemy is still around or someone else. I think that's
Can't agree with this call for one thing.
Now,
It's got nothing to do with the Cam Newton part. It's to keep him Matt Rule part. And then giving him drafting a quarterback. The answer right there was get rid of Cam Newton, draft a quarterback, keep Rule, and see if he can piece together an offensive line, and then fire him the year after. That sounds like oh my gosh, I don't know what that sounds like. It's like the worst plan to give your cheating ass wife. That's what it feels like. It's like, oh, I caught my wife sucking. You know what?
But tell me, like, didn't that opinion that he just said, like, didn't that seem like that would have been the most reasonable opinion? Like, if we all thought that
6 weeks ago, that would have been fine.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, we got to draft another quarterback and just like everybody makes it so simple. By the way, that was not a popular call with the chat. We got people calling the caller blind. But my thing is
like
this.
that's like walking in on your wife sucking another dude off and
Well,
then
maybe
being like, I'm going to let her go hang out with this weekend with these dudes and prove to her
Something like that.
she doesn't suck them off.
I just think that it's like there's people make it sound so simple. Like, oh yeah, you just draft a quarterback, get some O-line in free agency.
We missed the
Good to
time. We
go.
got the quarterback last year. The year before. We should have been
we always miss on the opportunity to do it, and we're always doing it when it's too late. And like my thing is this, dude. It's like Greg said this earlier. Not a lot of really good offensive linemen are going to hit free agency because those teams are going to pay those offensive linemen. You don't let good players go on your offensive line. You should always be rebuilding your offensive line. So it's that doesn't work out to me. It doesn't work out.
Next call. The number is 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098.
Hey guys, what's up? This is KPM. Just wanted to say thank you guys for all you do. We really appreciate the stuff you do for Panther Nation. And
thank you, brother.
I hate bringing up other stuff outside of a terrible loss, but we need to start looking forward. And when we look at this year's draft, we start thinking about how much of a mess the front office has put us into. Right now, we're looking at maybe one pick in the first 104 picks. So I'd need you guys' take on what our front office needs to do to approach this draft, especially since we need to address the offensive line. Also, trying to keep some of our notable free agents with just under $30 million cap space.
Well, all right. So great call. And thank you for calling in. And you know what is that? I think that he hit the nail on the head about why I am. This is the origins of why I'm so upset with Matt Rule's era. It is not because of the play on the field. It is not because of the coaching that's on the field. Right now, the troublesome part is building for the future. One pick in the top 100. You make us feel like we are going to be acquiring assets by trading back, and then you squander them all in this season of nothingness. I'm telling you, the problem with Matt Rule is about the problem of the vision of the future, Cody. And that's what I am upset about, is that a man that was promised to us to be a builder of things, has been a fraud. And I'm fucked up right now. I'm feeling good. So look, I feel bad, but god damn, what am I supposed to say right now?
You feel bad, but you feel good. That was the whole point of going to the bar. So I put this up on screen and peep who it's from, Tony. But he says, y'all know I usually ask how we feeling, but I know the answer. So instead, let's all say it together. We have to fire insert name. And then look at who posted this out.
You know what's funny
None other than Trey Boston himself.
He's getting paid like $3 million from us this year to tweet.
Are we still paying Trey Boston?
Yes, I saw something that we had $3 million of dead money on him. So that's what's even more funny about this. All right, let's go to the next call.
I mean, I understand why people are upset about, how the Panthers are playing. Shit, I'm upset. But, like, at this point in the season and at this, like, how we play, come on, you got to look at little things at this point. We're not we're not a championship team. We're not going to be for the next few years. We haven't even started to rebuild correctly. So until we figure that out, I mean, like, just the hustle. I mean, some of those guys work hard. Jeremy Chin had a nice pick. I mean, we keep looking at the same problem over and over again, but I mean, all we do is talk about it. I like to see like real change in people.
Well, what can we do? Tell us. What can we do to get this change? And that's the problem, man, is a person that continued to tell us about process. Let's do this the right way. Is that Matt Rule turns out to be, or looks like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I am completely off. But why are we not getting better from week to week? Why are we committing more penalties? Why is our defense, like, what tells us about Matt Rule's process that it is getting better? And I just don't believe in him in his building process. And I think this is that I've been on top of this from the beginning, is that it's one thing to bring in somebody who is a college coach. It's another thing to bring him into a situation where he has no mentorship around him. You didn't have a GM that had been in place, right? You replaced that. You did not have coaches that have coaching experience. And I feel like it's starting to get to the point where last year felt like beginner's luck, and this year feels like he's in over his head.
Yeah. He's been exposed, man. He's been exposed. This entire team has been exposed. Again,
why should he stick around, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
look,
at the end of the day,
there is no reason.
Give me one reason.
I'm still waiting for someone to give us a reason that's actually rooted in like some actual factual information. Like, okay, here is something that you could point to that maybe this is how it gets better. Like, no, everyone's giving us these really, unrealistic answers. Oh, you just draft a quarterback. Oh, you just go out and, we don't have a lot of picks. So just
fix your offensive line.
Just use free agency. It's like none of you have any idea how to really build a football team when you say that kind of shit. Like, if you felt that way, you should have done it way before, and you should have done it first. And again, it just goes to show that a college coach, coming in here trying to prove himself to be a big shot NFL play caller, Matt Rule is not that. And Urban Meyer might, and then I'll move on. Urban Meyer might be the poster boy for how bad a season can go for a college coach going into the NFL, especially considering what Urban Meyer did as a head coach and how storied he is.
He's the worst.
But don't let that distract you from just how bad Matt Rule has been, basically doing the same thing, just on a much more low-key note than Urban Meyer did it. So,
all right, let's go to the next call. Call in, folks. Call in. We want to hear from you.
Yo, Avery from New Hampshire here.
What's up,
My
Avery?
question is, if we can sign Stephon Gilmore and he can come in and play, if we can sign Cam Newton and he can come in and play, if we sign Amir Abdullah and he comes in and plays, CJ Henderson, he comes in and plays, Michael fucking Jordan comes in and plays and sucks ass. We drafted Deontay Brown and Brady Christensen. Why don't we play those guys? They've been in the system far longer. Fucking Matt
call is
an
awesome.
Idiot. That's my question. Keep pounding.
What a good call, bro. The people you selected can't play, but the people you found can play. Wow, what a good call. Love it. 252-228-5098. Let's go to the next one.
Dalvin Flex here again. At this point, look, I am all for just going ahead and just setting up shop in the Dallas Cowboys backyard and, coaching their backup offensive line, because at this point, the people that they got backing up, Tyler Biadasz and all those guys, man, they are miles ahead of anything that we got for interior OL right now. Like, look, there's got to be something that we can do to fix the OL. I don't know if we spend all of our picks on offensive line.
I gotta stop it there. You know why I gotta stop it? I'm cutting them off. Guess where Cam Irvin came from?
Dallas.
Next call.
Another point that I think needs to be made about the coaching is just how bad a lot of our play selection is in the run game. Like, it's
Yes, great.
our zone runs are so basic at this
I want
point
to talk
that
about
it's
this.
like all the linebackers have to do is just key in on the floor of the offensive line and get there. And the offensive line already isn't fast or strong enough to really move or combo block at the second level to cut backers off. So they're sitting up here able to stop the run like it's nothing. Where's all the misdirection? Where's all the gimmicks that you see in college for bad offensive line where you just tell them, hey, just get in the way of somebody, you start running traps, counters, all these veer type plays. We don't even have a good selection of RPOs, to be honest, with just backside tags and things where, it's just like everybody knows going this way, but wait, you got the backside, you got the backside wide receiver on the slant route, and so it opens up the pass game where you got more options. Like, we're not seeing a lot of that stuff, and that's just coaching. Like, no bones about it. That's bad coaching. So, again, another reason why Rule needs it.
We come back to coaching over and over on this, and that is the thing, is that we just don't see. I'm telling you, man, I wanted to like Matt Rule's message, but we are not good, man. We are bad. We're bad. I feel like he should be able to take us with some regular players and get a little bit more out of this. And it's not the W's, bro. It is not the W's. It's like there's just nothing really good. And this offensive line is so offensive, homie. And wasn't he an offensive line coach? Bums, man. Bums. Cody, how do we deal with it? We'll go to the next call and find out.
Hey, if folks want to find out who's really in control between Matt Rule and Scott Fitterer, go back and watch Carolina Confidential on Panther Confidential on YouTube, and you can go back and watch all the show. You kind of learn a lot that way. Scott Fitterer is just basically has equal power that Matt Rule got. Only Matt Rule controls the roster. So anything Scott Fitterer does with the roster, he kind of has to get Matt Rule's approval of it. That's just the way David Tepper did it when he fired Marty Herney. Was stupid, but that's what he did it. I also don't believe Matt Rule is here next year. I believe Tepper is going to try to force Rule to agree to a mutual separation because I believe David Tepper is going to just try to remove some of Matt Rule's power. That's going to piss Matt Rule off. But as long as he's gone, I really don't care if Tepper has to pay him money or not. I really don't give a damn how much money Tepper ain't got anymore. That's his problem, not mine. Besides all that, why the hell? I mean, you're not going if Matt Rule stays here next year, you're not going to get any help. You really not. When was the last time you heard Matt Rule say that his offensive line, his starting offensive line, like the one he has now, was bad? He's thrown every single offensive lineman we have under the bus, with the exception of Cam Irving and Pat Elflein. I mean, if there's any dog trash offensive lineman in the free agency next year, we'll probably go after him in the first day off of free agency like we did this year. It's just there. That's just what he is. He's just a stupid, incompetent, the end of a jackass baboon that head coach. And he may fit college. Guess what? Let that motherfucker go back to college.
Yeah.
As long as he ain't here, I don't really give a damn what fucking college he goes to. I really don't. I tell you what, he can go to somewhere and be a coordinator. I don't give a fuck where he goes. But and not only that, then the next head coach is going to have to figure out how the defensive line's up, because half the defensive line don't know where they line up. Riddick likely won't be here if Rule's gone. You don't know whether Burns is a linebacker or an end. And that goes for about everybody on defense. So we'll see. And God hope Rule gets fired. Anytime's a good time.
Anytime is a good time. And I think that was a great call, too. He talked about, if you go back and look at Panthers Confidential, you basically can kind of see the tiers of how it's set up as far as decision making. And yeah, listen, when another commonality with these college coaches coming into the NFL, they want total control. They don't like the idea of having to divvy up, oh, well, we're going to have a GM who's going to be responsible for the roster and is going to build the team. No, that's on Matt Rule. But then if that's the case, then fucking shame on David Tepper. Shame on David Tepper for spending $2.5 billion on a team that you want to bring a Super Bowl to the Carolinas, and then you're going to go and give all the decision-making abilities to an unproven college head coach? I'm sorry. I imagine that you can't be a dumb human being and earn billions of dollars in your life. But let me tell you, when it comes to making football decisions, David Tepper looks pretty fucking dumb.
I don't want to hear that mess about, oh, you spent $2.5 billion and you didn't get it done, because they could go 0-17, bro, and his $2.5 billion turns into more money. It's like buying a house, it's like buying a Harley. His investment has gone up, period. And that's the point, is I'm not feeling bad for anybody who buys a $2.5 billion investment that goes up 1% rather than 3%. Sorry.
Yeah, but you should if it's your football team, and it just so happens to be our football
it's already
team.
worth $3 billion, bro. It's already worth $3 billion. Like inflation, all this.
Dude,
like,
I don't give a damn about his pockets. I'm saying he fucked over our pockets.
Next call.
Hey guys, it's Joey for a fourth time, and the reason behind what I was thinking that, and I kind of get what y'all are saying now, is that, like, I mean, are we ready to sacrifice absolutely? Because, like, I don't want us to fire the GM or fire the coach and then fire the GM, and then the GM wants to do that. I don't want to do that shit. But then again, I mean, I don't give a fuck about Matt Rule or stuff too. I mean, they're just there. They're not, they're not important. So, like, yeah, we could fire him at the end of this year, but what coach and GM is going to want to inherit this mess? So, like, you know what I'm saying?
Everybody.
Like, if we did what I was saying in that
give
call,
me that fucking job. I'll take it.
I mean, we could just go into a situation like the Jags had this year, which ooh boy. I mean, the only reason I would want Urban Meyer over Matt Rule is so he was fucking funny. Like, it would make you laugh, like, the way the coaching problems he would have. But it would just be much worse. But, yeah, we could go into it with, I mean, we're not going to be that good. If Matt Rule continues on his regression, we're going to have the number one pick locked and loaded by week 1.
We're not having the number one pick. That's the problem. We're going to have, like, the 12th pick.
So, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You have a number one pick, a new GM, a new coach, like you got in your lap, and, like, a clean slate, you know what I'm saying? And then that's that, and you try to rebuild again.
I don't want a disjointed rebuild.
Wow.
All right. Thank you.
And by the way, I do not want Matt Rule as head coach. Like, I hate
all right.
Matt
Well,
Rule.
look, you don't have to caveat all that and this and that. I love when people are like, oh, I don't want to be there. And I'm not calling on you, Joey, but, like, I watch these Twitter people. Every time they talk about Cam, they go, I don't want to talk bad about Cam, but like, you are, like, just do it. And that's fine. Look, his Cam has not looked great. His shoulder looks like it's struggling to me. the mechanics. You know what I'm saying? He's got a big throwing motion. It looks like he's winding up. But that's what I'm talking about with this coaching staff as well, man. Is like, why do we? It's a disjointed building process. That's what I feel like. This is any call to bring Matt Rule back next year. You better, if you're going to bring Matt Rule back next year, you need to commit to him for 3 years. Then after that, like, I feel like we're either like you're just punting. It's 4th and 2. And you can either punt with keeping Matt Rule next year, or you can go for it. I feel like we got to go for it. And I'm sorry, like, I don't have a reason to believe that letting him decide the direction of the team next year or taking a second seat to Scott Fitterer is the best solution.
Right.
Disjointed. Disjointed, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, it would have been fine if we would have done it the right way, dude.
Yeah, but
they fucked this year up, bro. They should have drafted Rashawn Slater. It's just it. They should have just drafted the offensive lineman and made it fucking simple.
Dude, it's looking like we have the potential to be the Browns of the next decade.
Yes.
Because we had to find out the hard way that our owner doesn't really know how to make good decisions involving the football team he just purchased. And if he's going to continue to bring in coaches like this, I mean, listen, I already have no faith in any of the decision makers on the Carolina Panthers. But if we don't fire Matt Rule, oh, dude, like, it's going to take a miracle for me to ever think that the Panthers are going to be able to come back and contend from this.
Imagine this podcast. I cannot wait for this. In fact, you know what? It might bring us the most listeners we've ever had in the history of our life. Is that if on starting Sunday of next year, the head coach is Matt Rule and the starting quarterback is Sam Darnold. Like, if that happens, it might be the best thing for this podcast or the worst. I don't know.
It's gonna be rough.
I mean, okay. Like, even if
I mean, it's a possibility, homie.
It's a
that
real
Matt Rule is coming back, which I don't believe he will. I do not think he's going to be our coach next year. I think he's going to be fired. I've placed bets with people, and I know I'm a little early to the game on that. But what is going to happen if he is the coach next year and you got Sam Darnold on the contract? Imagine both of those fools walking out together.
Yeah, you're either going to eat 2 contracts or you're going to serve 2 contracts. Both of them are not good. Like, you're in a predicament. Two bad decisions. You know.
But I told you, Mr. Moneybags, David Tepper, his nickname to me is Mr. Day Late Dollar Short. Because what he'll do, and I've even said this before on the podcast, yeah, he'll fire Matt Rule after week 4 or 5 next season when he should have done it this year. Yeah, I mean, that's his MO, man. That's his modus operandi. The man is a day late, dollar short. And don't believe who a man tells you he is. Believe who his actions show him to be. And so far, his actions have done nothing but show him to be a guy who's only interested in winning right now. So he's just going to go for the snake oil salesmen that are pitching him all this. Oh, we're going to be a team, and we're going to have a winning culture, and don't beat ourselves, and all this mumbo jumbo. Like, Matt Rule might as well be a football cult leader, dude.
Let's go to the next call. We want you to be a part of the show. Come on, 252-228-5098.
What's up, C3?
My man, Noah.
I don't even know what to feel anymore. I think this probably be my last call for a little bit. Until next season, because I just can't. I don't want to be a Carolina Panthers fan no more.
Poor guy. No, you got to stick with us.
Wait,
you'll be all right. We'll be all right.
This is pathetic, man. I mean, oh my gosh, y'all! How did they get us to 31? How did they beat us 31? I mean, come on. Honestly, I don't want to be a Panthers fan no more. My friends are blowing up my phone saying L Carolina Panthers.
Oh
Gosh,
man.
This is just crazy. How can I say CG and
Look,
fire Matt
no,
Rule?
we're gonna get
Make
you.
that a chant.
Noah.
Fire
No.
Matt Rule. He said, make that a chant.
That's the
Fire
culture
Matt
we're building,
Rule.
y'all. That's the
Fire
culture
Matt
we're
Rule.
building. Yep. And I don't disagree with him, to be truly honest with you. I really like at that age when you're just trying to develop a love for a team, why would you want to start out pulling for a team that sounds like in his entire lifetime?
He always
They suck.
gives the best calls each week. I mean, he gives great calls, but I'm gonna tell you
Yeah.
this, Noah. Is like stick with the Panthers. Like we're gonna stick with this podcast. We're gonna stick with the team, but we're gonna talk shit. Excuse me, shouldn't say that. We're gonna talk junk about the decisions and the plays that don't work out. So you know what? Keep the passion.
Mm-hmm.
Keep the love and the life for it, but don't. It's not. We don't need to be happy with crappiness, right? It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be upset. Stick with us, though. Stick with the Panthers.
I gotta say, man, I think you're wrong. And I'm not saying that Noah is right to give up on the Panthers, but this is a microcosm for the problem that the Panthers face.
Mm-hmm.
Think of all the young fans that they want a good football team that they can cheer for. I mean, like, they want to have something that they can believe
we
in.
all want that.
But when you build a culture where winning is, it's always a season away, right? We're going to, we're going to sign some players, and the Panthers will be right back in it, just for their seasons to be smashed and smashed and smashed.
That's
Tony,
not what I said.
No, I'm not saying that's what you said. I'm saying you and I and Greg, we're tenured Panther fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've been a fan of this team for a long time, and we're down for the long haul. But a lot of these kids coming up, it's like you're going to have to give them something if you're going to expect them to be lifelong Carolina Panther
listen
fans.
to this dude. Do not listen to this dude.
He's not wrong.
I'm right. I am right.
You are wrong, Cody.
No, I'm
He's
not.
not wrong.
I'm not wrong. Tell him, Greg.
Yeah. Well, no, what Cody's saying is what they're putting out there. This is what the result you get. I mean, you cannot expect somebody who has no history or hasn't ever had any kind of Carolina Panthers victory in their life to be a Panther
Have
fan.
some resolve,
You're asking
bro.
somebody to pull for a loser.
Have some backbone. Noah, don't listen to these fools. Don't listen to these fools. No, you got to stick with. Look, we have our downtimes. We got some problems. We got some issues. And look, and the Panthers have had some issues. Go look up the name Ray Caruth. Go look up the name Jerry Richardson. Go look up the name Greg Hardy. Go look up.
Or maybe don't. Or don't.
Or don't.
Yeah,
don't Google those things. Don't go. But the point is this, is that no, we are going to, we have to stick with this kind of team for the bittersweet moment, for the bitter moments to get the sweet moments.
You're right.
And the worst thing you could do is not give a crap. That's my point, is that by prescribing someone to say they shouldn't care, this and that, is that you either are, there's two things they can do. They can go cheer for another team, which would suck, or they could not care about football anymore, which would also suck. Yeah, so the same thing is just be upset. Just be upset right now. Just be upset that they ain't living up to our expectations. They are not doing what Noah could do a better job of. Noah could be the head coach. Cody Lashley could be the GM. Don't abandon this. Don't abandon the podcast. Don't abandon these people. I know it's hard, man. It's easy. It's like this. It's like we're exhausted. It's been whatever, 16, 15 weeks. We're in the holiday season. You just want to go check on your chickens. Poor Greg.
But and I'm not again for clarification.
We lost the game.
I am not telling. Hold on, I am not telling Noah that he should give up.
That's what you
no,
just
you're
did.
not hearing me. What I'm saying is, is that in your time, in your lifetime, Tony, as a Panther fans, the Carolina Panthers have drizzled some sweetness on your tongue. You're like, yeah, I remember that 2003 Super Bowl season. I remember that 2015 Super Bowl
40,
season.
though.
What does Noah? I mean, look, Noah's a young
He
kid.
remembers
What
2015.
does he have to remember about the Carolina Panthers
2017.
ever
Look.
giving him a good season?
And
If
all
you
I'm-
don't,
yeah.
if the Panthers don't give fans a reason to believe that this team can be good, you are going to take a generation of Panther fans and make them not give a darn about football. Like the Panthers have to give them something, or else you're just going to build more and more apathetic fans that don't care win or lose. They're just a football team in the Carolinas.
Look, and look,
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, look, Tony, I'm not saying he shouldn't be a Panthers fan either. All I'm saying is, for me, it's easier for me to accept being a Panthers fan because I decided a long time ago I'm going to be a Panthers fan through and through, you know? So I stick with them when they're in their down times. But when you're young and you're trying to develop teams that you like, we don't even know if he's from North Carolina. You know? I'm not from LA, but I like the Lakers. You know, so like you don't necessarily have to pull for a team that is from your area. Like, what if he's just trying to decide what kind of football team he likes, and he decided to go with the Panthers, and they've just sucked his entire. You know, wouldn't you want to? I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying I understand the mindset of not wanting to be a Panthers fan anymore at that age. You know.
All right, let's go to the next call. 252-228-5098.
Hey guys. It's keep pounding, not keep beating, as in beating off to the Cam Newton poster. Take it down. It's over. Cam, he cannot make the throws. His shoulder is messed up. He's older now. He can do some rushing touchdowns or short throws, but he used to be in his prime a very good deep ball thrower. He just cannot throw the ball with zip, with power on it. He can't throw it far anymore. He's gone. Get over it. Now, as far as Matt Rule, here's my take on it. The Panthers are screwed. They made their bed. There's no way that they can get a franchise quarterback and a quality offensive line in 1 year, especially without a second-round pick. So therefore, you keep Rule around, but you take away all personnel matters from. So have the GM be fit or be responsible for the draft and free agency. Rule focuses on skill player development and game day coaching. You separate the positions of GM and coach. You go for it. If they suck again next year, you fire Rule. The GM brings in a new coach. And God forbid, once again, Panthers have to do a rebuild, blow the thing up, and rebuild again. Bye-bye.
Don't you know what? I don't hate the call. Look, as I understand the is that like when it comes to there's real questions about Cam Newton and the velocity of the ball and some different things like that. Our offense has been better with him than without him. So I want to credit him for that. Yeah. But I do agree with this is like I disagree with the caller actually. It's about like trying to give the personnel decisions to Fitterer and seeing if it could help Rule or this and that. Is that seems to be kicking the can down the road to me. And if that is the right answer, then that means that the way we approached it was the wrong way. Right? Like, I mean, if that fixes things, if all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, Scott Fitterer is going to tell Matt Rule what to do. Like, come on. That's like me just admitting that my wife is right in an argument. I'm not going to admit it. I can't do that. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it might be right, but come on.
It doesn't feel right. It's against my religion.
Yeah.
I just don't think, I mean, like, I think if that solves it, then that shows the problem at the same time.
I wanted to highlight this comment. He says, I'm from New York. I'm a Panthers fan and a Lakers fan, but I know what Cody means. You want to build a fan base that believes in you, and if you keep losing, they won't stay with you during the bad times. Right, and that was my entire point. You have to give some good times before you can give someone a reason to stick with you for all the bad times. We have histories with this football team. We don't know how great of a history these younger generation of kids are going to have connected to the Carolina Panthers. I mean, look, I have no idea how old he was, but he was even younger in 2017, the last time the Panthers made it to the playoffs. Who knows how much he remembers of that season? That's my only point, man. Every once in a while, you have to do more than just dangle the carrot in front of them. Sometimes you got to let them nibble from that carrot. That's all I'm saying.
No, it's tough to build. It's tough to grow a fan base when you're losing. Like to grow. And think about this. It's tough to hold on to a fan base while you're losing. Right? It's like an economy. It's either contracting or it's growing. It never sits still. Like stagnant. Either the economy is like growing or it's contracting. Like we're either in, and your fan bases are probably similar. And so the more you lose, the harder it is to grow a fan base, I would think.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, guys, it's keep pounding, not keep beating, as in beating off.
Hey, I figured out what Matt Rule is. Matt Rule is that fart that you think is a fart, but it's not really a fart. It's just diarrhea, and you wind up just shitting yourself.
And you know what you call that? You thought you farted it, but you sharted it.
Yeah, I guess so. Next call.
Hey, what's going on? My name is Zach Harris out of Kannapolis, North Carolina. I just
What's up,
wanted to
Zach?
say, as I was watching the game today, Cam was really working hard. I mean, he, to be in the position that he's in, he seemed very, working hard. I mean, he got beat up all through the game. The offensive line was terrible. I've been saying this all year. Cam is not the problem. It's Matt Rule. It's the offensive coaching. It's the defensive coaching. It's the whole staff. I'm a firm believer Cam Newton is here to help this team. I'm not a real big Sam Darnold fan. I don't think that's not what we need. I think we need a quarterback that's fast, that's strong. The running situation we got going, McCaffrey, if he could just keep healthy, things would be different. I don't know. Maybe I'm just going crazy, but, I've been a Carolina fan my whole life. I'm from Kannapolis, North Carolina. Cam Newton's not the problem. It's definitely the offensive line.
Well, man, good call. Good call. Let's keep going through.
I could hear me going off in the background.
252-228-5098.
What's up, fellas? This is Cody.
Cody. What's
I
up,
didn't
bro?
get to watch the game today. I went to see Spider-Man No Way Home.
Good
You made
call.
a good choice.
Good call.
So sorry
Good choice.
no one got to go see that yet. Spoiler alert, it was awesome.
No.
Anyway,
How funny would that be if you just spoiled the end of the movie?
I want you to have a debate with me and Cody
Spoiler
about
alert,
Cam
the
Newton.
Panthers
How
lost.
dare you come in here talking shit about Cam Newton? Oh, he this, he that, he can't do this, he that, get over it, he's done. And then you have the nerve talking about keep Matt Rule. Man, get out of here. Get that out of here. We talked about Cam Newton like that, like this dude's been a bomb. Get out of here with that. Anyway, Tony, that kid, I have to agree with Cody about that. When he was talking about that kid, I understand that kid's frustration, and Cody is right. You keep putting a product like that on the field, what do you expect the young mind to think? Hell, if I was young like that, hell, I'd probably go to another team too.
Yeah, be a
I'd
Chargers fan.
Be like, see you, Panthers. Wouldn't want to be here.
All right, man. I don't
But-
care about y'all kids.
But yeah, I was just kidding with that one caller who called in. First thing he's gonna talk junk about is Cam. Dude, get out of here with that once again. Anyway, yeah, Tony and Cody and
I
his
think
bad
Cam's
daddy,
shoulder does look cooked.
Our
Good.
team sucks.
Mm-hmm.
I guess hopefully brighter days are coming. I'm gonna cross my fingers, and one of them is Rule gone. And if that happens, I say we celebrate on C3. Drinks on me.
Like
Oh,
a divorce
yeah.
party.
I will
Like-
take you
like a
up
divorce
on
party,
that.
I like it.
I really think that Cam's shoulder is struggling.
What? Okay, how? Which play makes you think, oh, that's a hurt shoulder?
I think it is volume. All right, so the best thing I saw from someone, usually the New England fans that talk junk about Cam, well, they're like, oh, now we've got all our defensive players back. We got our offensive line. We were just taking last season off. Cam Newton did a lot for them. But I do think his effectiveness is in the run game a lot, and that RPO and the kind of underneath stuff. I would say this is last year when he did that Seattle game, he threw like 50 times or whatever. And then afterwards, someone said like it looked like that volume of throwing
Yeah.
kind of hurt him. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what I would just say is this is not like he can't. I'm not saying he can't throw the ball. And I'm not even. I almost feel like his game just has to adjust. Period. Like, and which is strange, is you would think as you get older, you would run the ball less, you throw the ball more. It almost feels like Cam is more effective in the run with with less passing. The volume of passing is problematic, and I think that because he's so tall and so big, his throwing motion is big. It's like a big windup. I don't know, man. It feels like it just actually not feels like, because I don't feel shit. Like I'm not feeling it while he's throwing it. It looks like it's not like he looks like he's about to blow, like wind up for this big ass pass, and then it's like, whoop.
Yeah.
And you're like, is that touch? Is he trying to put touch on it, or is he?
Well, so I think part of
Just
it is this.
mustering up.
I think that Cam Newton is always at his worst. His mechanically, Cam Newton is at his worst when he's being pressured. Now, this is true for any quarterback, but especially here.
Water is wet, dude.
But I'm saying, especially with Cam Newton, though, because this is my point. Any of those bad throws, that one where it looked like he underthrew DJ Moore, it's like, yeah, he also had to get that ball out of his hand before a defender. No, it isn't, though. When you're in every single big time throw you have to make, you don't have a pocket to throw the football from. How are you going to sit there and accurately say, oh, okay, well, that pass shows me that Cam Newton's arm is dead? Right. Well, maybe, but we've also seen him make some throws here, too. When they finally do get on the same page with receivers, he can move the ball down the field.
It's not live. His arm is not live, bro.
You wouldn't know it even if it was. That's what I'm saying. You wouldn't know it if it was.
Right. You said that about everything. You've said that about Pete. You said that about Teddy Bridgewater.
No, what I'm saying, okay, no, but Teddy Bridgewater had an opportunity to show you what kind of arm he had, and it was apparent that he didn't have a ton of arm talent.
Cam looks like he's throwing it as hard as he can. Like, as hard as he can.
I've seen him throw some rockets this year, though, a couple of times. I mean, he's got the power to do it.
I'm
Maybe
not
he's
saying
just
he
trying to
can't
throw
be
the
a
ball lighter.
quarterback, but it's not. His arm strength is not his. Like, you know how you keep saying Josh Allen has a bazooka?
Mm-hmm.
You can't say Cam has a bazooka anymore.
Yeah.
You just can't say he has a bazooka.
I would like to give him the opportunity, but I mean, listen, I'm not sitting here. I'm not saying that Cam is on.
It's very problematic for Cam. I truly think this is that, like, Cam did have a bazooka for so long, and for me, someone who's defended him against every single person on the earth, you know what I'm saying? Like, they say he can't read defense, he can't do that. If there is a knock on Cam, is that he needs to see the receiver open. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't anticipate him. He likes to see him break open. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he had the bazooka to just fit it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he could play that way. His game is going to have to adjust. That's what I'm saying. His game is going to have to adjust from him to not having this crazy physical superiority in the throwing game.
I hear you.
And that's what's going to have to happen, man, because it's not there anymore.
But there is no level of adjustments that can even be made to make Cam Newton successful in this offense.
Well, sure.
Like, that's
you might as well have just stuck with everything we had before. And that's
Was
the
Cam
point.
Newton? What was Cam Newton the
He's
reason
like Jack
we lost
Ruby. He's a
today?
fall guy.
Yeah, just like Joe Brady was.
No. Cam
Oh
Newton
yeah,
is the
okay.
real Jack Ruby.
I mean, listen, I'm not saying he's not. I mean, look, I'm Cam's biggest defender. I know that he takes all this shit, but I'm saying like even what one of our callers said, even the run plays were uninventive from Nixon. Like they were just up the middle, run true, but up the middle.
Oh, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear
They
that.
were boring, man. Like
you can't make
Joe
run
Brady was
plays
the fall
inventive,
guy.
Dick.
They
I don't
commented
want to
on
hear
that.
that shit. I think. How about this? I think the offensive play calling and all of the things that were put together have been better under Nixon. I think our offense has been more composed and more effective under Jeff Nixon than it was under Joe Brady in those first 7
How?
games.
What part?
I say
What
the
part?
announcers on the game were talking about how vanilla everything was and how they needed to change things up because it was easy for defenses to read the simple plays they were
We've
running.
been moving the ball. We have
Yeah,
moved
but
the
doing
ball.
very
Over the last 2 games, we
vanilla
moved the
stuff.
ball, man.
Yeah, running right up the center, man. Like, just,
And you know what? You know what? We were converting down. You know what? We ran Cam Newton on them RPOs a lot more today. Like we needed to run Cam. I'm telling you, man, this offense has been more productive. Look at the numbers. How many points did we put up today?
We put up what, 14?
Yeah,
14. That's 10 more points than we would have put up with Joe Brady.
You're right. But I mean, still,
we put up more points.
We put up 20 something when we played Washington. Yeah, I can look at the score for this shit.
Okay. I'm telling you, we have, first of all, we scored in the third quarter, number one. We have scored points Jeff Nelson is not the problem, bro. Joe Brady was part of the problem. But here, who gives a fuck? Even if he was a sacrificial lamb, it doesn't matter because Matt Rule's going to be fired too. So if you fire Matt Rule, they're all getting fired.
We put up 21 points against the Falcons. We put up like 14 today. And you know, at least
and
Joe
we didn't
Brady
have a kicker today, bro. So let's go ahead and put it up there. That's 20 points today if we had a field goal kicker.
The offense has, I mean, again, Joe Brady
the offense has not been. The problem has just it's been more productive than it was with Joe Brady, and the offensive line has been as terrible as it was with Joe Brady.
We're not more productive.
Yes,
we're
we
not
are.
more productive. Better than when
we moved the ball. We moved the ball.
Put up 34 on Minnesota.
I'll give you an example of this: is we moved the ball effectively from the 3-yard line last week until Cam Newton threw the pick six.
Dude, I'm saying,
like, don't throw that on the offensive coordinator. Like we moved the ball. Our run game has looked more efficient under Nelson. Everything has looked better. Is it Nelson or Nixon? What's the fuck?
Nixon. Jeff
Nixon. I'm telling you, man, it has been better under him than it was before.
I felt like in the last few games I've been watching, we've had like maybe one drive where we look like an actual football team, and the rest of the time we just don't even look like we know what we're doing.
Right.
Like
it's
really, that's how I feel. My wife was sitting there today, and I was sitting there, and I was like, man, the Panthers really suck. Like we just don't look like a football team. She was like, what do you mean? I was like, look at them. It doesn't even like they're playing football. It's so crazy. Yeah.
All right, let's go
I
next
disagree
call,
with that one there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next call.
Yo, this is T calling in. I just got to get shit off my chest. I've been a Panther fan since they got here. Right now with this owner, I really don't have any faith in this team going forward. Just look at the way they brung Rule in, and we're in such a fucking hurry to get rid of Ron Rivera. Common sense would say, especially with an NFL team, and again, the man is brilliant. He's a billionaire, very smart man. But I don't understand how he was in such a hurry to get rid of Ron Rivera, right? And I understand Rivera's time here grew stale, whatever. Okay. But they fired him. The damn season wasn't even over with. and just, 3 years ago or 2 years ago, he took the team to the Super Bowl. But he was in such a hurry to get Rivera out, right? Get Rivera out, and I'm thinking, okay, well, damn, he's really gonna wow us. You then go out and get a college coach, who didn't even win the damn chip in college football. I mean, at least when, for example, Jimmy Johnson was hired by the Dallas Cowboys, the man had won the national championship. He had a roster. He had players that were full of NFL. He basically had an NFL team, except it was in college, right? So this happened when I was like 12, but I intuitively knew. I was like, okay, I understand this hire. Now it could have went left, but we all know how that ended up. But with all that being said, I just didn't see the track record for giving Rule everything that you gave him. And what has he done since he's been here? All right, he ran away Cam Newton. Okay, Cam Newton, shoulder injured, not the same guy. But you then think, okay, I'll get Teddy Bridgewater, and you give him $63 million. When, hell, I'm just a guy sitting behind a computer driving. I knew that Teddy Bridgewater was nothing more than a bridge quarterback. Why would you pay a bridge quarterback that type of money?
Great point.
I know that. All right, you get rid of Bridgewater. Then you go ahead and you bring in Sam Darnold. And again, I'm not no damn scout, but I knew he was not worth bringing here. And all these rules, all these moves are just, they're a comedy of errors. And it's just, when you see someone fuck up consistently like this, you just start to think, man, they just don't have it in them. I don't know. But
that's the point right there. Great call, man. Thank you for the call. Here's the thing about it. It's not one mistake. It is the collection of errors. And really the collection of errors that have led to the lack of optimism for the future for me. Is not even what errors have been problematic over the last 2 seasons, but how these errors will then undermine our future success when it comes to draft picks and blah, blah, blah. So that's why I want somebody to tell me why I should stick with Matt Rule as the head coach other than we made the choice already. So now it's like the sunk cost fallacy. It's like we put so much into them. You want to just keep riding it? Just want to keep riding it? Maybe. Let's go to the next call.
Well,
one thing I kind of think is a little bit different.
What you guys?
My one thing is just what I said earlier about Ron Rivera. Ron Rivera had 2 years that David Tepper gave him to try and show some signs of life. It didn't go well. Ron Rivera needed to be fired. I can say that Matt Rule is not worth his job, and also say that it was time to move on from Ron Rivera. I mean, it doesn't have me missing Ron Rivera. I wanted us to hire a competent head coach. And by the way, this is real quick, and I wanted to show it because I think you guys will laugh your asses off at it. Somebody posted this near Buffalo Stadium. They said like not even 4 minutes away. Somebody found Sir Purr.
Just walking down the road.
Sir Purr is just all upset, all in his feelings, walking down the road. Somebody check on Sir Purr, man. He has emotions too, y'all.
His best statistical years came under the North Turner offense, where he was doing a lot of the quick game stuff, a lot of underneath and intermediate routes. He's been known or billed as a deep ball thrower almost incorrectly, because if you look at his first few years, a lot of the times he was throwing deep to basically deep throw weapons. Devin Funchess, the Kelvin Benjamins, even Steve Smith was a deep threat. And then, we had Ted Ginn, who pretty much was a 50-50 shot to catch the ball, but was a deep threat. He wasn't really a refined route runner. A team that Cam can really thrive on is one that's got a really good run game with a bruising back, where you're going to have linebackers basically having to bring their whole lunch to try to tackle the back, just to realize, oh crap, it's not really the big back that's got the ball. Oh, it's the 6'5", 240-pound quarterback. But now, we're sitting up here stacking the box. Now we got shorter windows to basically, have to cover these wide receivers that can get open underneath. And now the quick game starts to thrive. You sort of build a modified play action offense, not really a deep shot offense. So, we see guys saying, oh, Cam's shoulders cooked and whatnot and all that. But when you look at a lot of the offensive lines and a lot of what he was playing under, a lot of that really had him throwing off platform, basically having to make throws where he didn't have his feet set. And that was actually a bad mechanic that he developed that, we saw in the preseason game with New England where against Philadelphia, he had plenty of time in the pocket. Those throws came out. They looked zippy. They looked polished. But, it's just, there's a lot that has to be built around Cam. And I think that's what a lot of coaches and GMs don't want to do is they don't want to build their offense around a type of quarterback that you're not likely to find another one in the draft that can really study and, just slot.
All right. Last call of the night.
Cat Chronicles. Hey, this is Zach Harrison from Kannapolis. Listen, I just heard what you just said. Look, Cam is not the problem. Look, if that man had at least 10 seconds to make a play, and when he does have time to make a play, he gets the plays done. His shoulder may be injured. Okay, I'll give you that. But he's still a good quarterback. He is a good, decent quarterback, and we need to keep
I agree with that. I ain't got no problem with that. All
You
right.
hear us fighting in the background.
I know. No, I agree with a lot of it. I mean, I agree with all that, but I'm telling you that I've watched Cam closely as a Cam sexual, and that the wind up is tough. It looks like he's putting everything into every throw. And maybe, who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like we've missed some things. I feel like we've been so emotional today. We missed some things about the game. Like, what do we miss about the actual game today?
How about I know one. I have one. How about Brian Burns' hands are purely for decoration? Because that man cannot wrap up or finish a sack to save his life, man.
He did blow up Josh Allen like a motherfucker on one play, though.
One time. Like, he's good for one big hit a game where no
9
one's
sacks
backing
and you're
it.
talking shit about him.
Dude, he could have 16. Are you gonna say that Brian Burns hasn't had a million near misses this season? Like, how many times have we talked about it? Like, his hands, like, the dude he isn't clutch, man. He isn't clutch. He's had opportunities to come down with some big time plays, and he doesn't wrap up.
Scoop and score on that fumble in the very beginning of the game. Remember when he tried to scoop and score and you just like fall on it? I mean, you want him to scoop and score. Like, that's what you want. I was ready for it, but then it's just like fall on that fumble, homie. We didn't get it back. They got it back.
Yeah. And then also remember that 2-point conversion that we made? I thought that was a good pass from Cam to DJ Moore. DJ Moore went up and got the football too. Like, that was good from both of them. Like, again, it's like those are the plays where you can see, Cam, if you give Cam some time, his arm may not be what it once was, but we can make some things happen. Listen, man, like, unless the wheels have already fallen off, but none of you are going to be able to convince me that PJ Walker or Sam Darnold are going to be a better option for the Carolina Panthers going forward. I know a lot of you disagree, but if you're asking me right now who needs to be the quarterback for next season, dude, I'm still saying that it's Cam Newton, because we're not going to be able to bring Deshaun Watson or Aaron Rodgers here unless you give up a fuckload. So it's it's going to have to be Cam.
So it wouldn't matter if you brought him here anyway. They have no line to protect him. Every quarterback has to have a line to protect them or give them some kind of time. It wouldn't matter if we brought somebody like that in. Don't need to fix quarterback right now. We got a lot of things to fix.
Build that wall. We got another call. Here goes.
Hey guys, this is Diane. Just wanted to call in.
Hello.
And put my thoughts on the game today and the whole return of Cam Newton. I just want to say to Cam to keep your head up, keep working. Because this organization you have given your all to, you put this organization, you have brought many good things to this organization. And we entered at a time when the organization is going backwards. That was one reason why I was kind of skeptical about you coming back this time around, because I was so afraid that you was going to be made the scapegoat.
Yeah.
And it looked like, you got
Good call.
supposedly
I love it.
Carolina fans calling in and writing, and now it's all your fault. You didn't create this mess, and they can't appreciate what you're trying to do for this organization at a time when it's just down, and it needs to get back on track and in a good place. So I'm a true fan of yours, and I'm a true Panthers fan, and I just want you to just keep going. Just keep working and keep going. I like to say to Mr. Tipper, to the owner of this team, you need to get with people, football people. And that could be people who have been retired football coaches who have actually built teams and have gone to a Super Bowl. That advice would be priceless to you. You somehow you need to get those people, invite those people into your home or there, so that and talk to them, get advice from them. Then you can go
This is
out.
the best call of the night.
I'd like to see Coach Scott Fitterer one more
Best
year,
call
or one
of the
or two
night.
more years as GM. I feel like he has potential to build the Panthers. I don't know exactly what's going on behind the scenes.
Diane, right?
Who have the power to do this, who have the power to do that. But I'd like to see Scott Fitterer actually allow him to unleash his talent. He needs to seek out players from every corner of the earth, whether it's on the mountaintops, down at the fish pond.
It's the best call of the night right there.
And I
Best
love
call of
how
the night.
it was
Like,
kind of
let's
like
talk-
her. Go ahead.
I was just thinking this is that is that the fear. We debated this on Debate My Take about we had this past week Sam versus Cam, who should you start? And I went with this. I took the tough position of starting Sam Darnold, but is that this? I do really believe that you brought Cam in at a time the whole thing was floundering. And then it's a sleight of hand moment. It's a smoke screen. It's a trick. And I do believe he's the Jack Ruby. He's the patsy of this. Is that, look, is you make Panther fans happy for a second. And then you bring in a player. And look at this. Cam running and rushing and putting his body on the line like crazy. You know what I mean? He ain't half out there. He ain't half going for you. Just taking a paycheck. He's out there trying like his best. I think it is a diversion to the problems. You put him on a team that was incomprehensibly bad, and if anything, is Cam Newton was brought here to save Matt Rule's job. And so I'm with the caller on this. Is like, man, it's a great call from top to bottom.
And I like that it was like almost like a love letter to Cam. Like she's talking to Cam, hey, don't worry. Don't be too hard on yourself. You didn't, you inherited this mess. You didn't make this mess. Right? You have a head coach.
Fire Matt Rule, man. He made this mess.
Yeah, you have a head
made the mess, dude. The team was better with there's no vision.
There's no vision. And then on that 4th and down play, on that 4th and 1 play, Matt Rule wants to say that Cam Newton shouldn't have thrown the football. Once again, you fired your previous offensive coordinator a little over 2 weeks ago. Cam Newton is still the newest member of the football team, trying to get
Just
him
call
rhythm.
a goddamn run, then.
Dude, it's so like you're putting it all on Cam when he is the least dude, it's frustrating, man. We're fucking spinning the wheels here. Thank you to Diane for a fantastic call. I'm glad that we were able to go out on that one. That was a great call. Man, we've got how many more weeks of this? We have 4 more.
No, we
have 3 more games.
We got a lot. Today was a good day for Panther Nation, as we were competitive enough to keep us mad and angry. Right. I mean, we were in it like a little bit of 2-score game. And when I say in it, we were so far out of it, it wasn't even crazy. I mean, it was ridiculous. But today's team, I think, continued to show that the coaching staff is problematic. Like you saw players out there that were pretty good. You know, you saw some players that were making, like, is anybody going to go out there and say Hassan Reddick ain't playing hard? Is anybody going to go out there and say, you know, I mean, like, we got question marks on the talent for sure, the talent, but at the same time, we didn't, I think the question marks, I don't know. I haven't found anything that makes me feel good about this coaching staff. That's it. That's it. Yeah. Is like, and I'm not rooting against them. I am not rooting against Matt Rule. I'm not rooting. I'm like, I want them to change my mind. You know, I'm like a woman who has been domestically beat, like domestic violence victim. And it's like this. It's like, I'm rooting for you. I am rooting for you to not beat my ass. But every time I turn on the television, you beat my ass.
It's bad. The Carolina Panthers fucking suck. Thank you to Chris Mortensen for the $4.99. We appreciate you, brother. Once again, we never ask for money, but it's always appreciated. Before we get out of here, everybody hit that like button, please.
Yeah. Hit the like. Subscriber. Shame.
Hit the subscribe button, man. We're going to be here all year round. Eventually, I'm going to be doing some draft content on here. We're going to be showing you some of these players. It'll be a good time, man. It'll be a good time. I'm excited for what the season, basically for the season to be over, so that way I can watch some playoff football with some actual good teams. But also, man, like, we have 3 more games. I think we're probably going to lose all of them. And that's sad, man. I think that Tony would be I think that Cam Newton's probably going to be 0-7 as a starter.
Don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. All right, let's wrap this up. Good God. I don't want to wrap it up. I want to keep talking about the team and my friends. Like, everybody, I love y'all so much. But we're here on Tuesdays. We're here on Wednesdays. We're on Thursdays and Fridays. We're here all the time. So I'll hang out with y'all. We got to do a couple of things. We got to dab on them. Who's the dab on them player of the game? Give me one player that made a good play.
Yeah. Brandon Zylstra.
Yeah, there you go.
That climb the ladder catch.
Yeah, man. He's look, Brandon Zylstra has made some good plays.
He deserves to be on the team.
Yeah,
Greg.
Didn't Chin have an interception?
Huh?
Did Chin have an interception?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that
yes,
play was dope. That play was dope.
I'll give him that.
All right. My dab on him is going to be to the guy. I don't even know his name. Who's our punt returner dude who sucks?
Erickson. He actually didn't call a fair catch this game.
But did you see him falling down and catch that ball? Like, it looked like it. He called fall catch. I said he called fall catch. I told you I had a little drink. He called fair catch, and he slipped and caught it falling down, and it could have been the biggest disaster ever. Like, it was terrible looking, and he made it happen. So that's my dab on him. Towel on the head. Towel of shame. Who you got?
Matt Rule, always.
Okay.
He wears
it's
like a hat.
I'm going Brian Burns with not fucking didn't get the scoop and score. Didn't get, and look, he's playing out there. He's almost playing too hard.
That could be
like he's like so wanting to get the results and this and that. I understand. He's got 9.5 sacks or whatever, and I'm talking junk about him.
Yep.
But damn, that's mine.
Mine is the same one that
Cam
Greg
Newton.
picked.
Say Cam
I'm
Newton.
no, fuck that. I'm picking Matt Rule. Matt Rule's an incompetent piece of shit. He continues to put players at disadvantages on and off the football field, throws them under the bus when his own inadequacies have caused the Panthers great harm. And I didn't ever think that I would have this much contempt for a man like, at this point in the season when, to be honest, I was kind of indifferent about Matt Rule going into the season. Like, I mean, you remember me saying it was a prove
Yeah,
it year.
I'm the same way.
Everybody needed to prove everything. They needed to prove their weight, prove their worth. And
I don't like him now. I might against it.
it's like we now we like the thought of Matt Rule being here another year, and with Sam Darnold, like, dude, we're living in hell.
This
Listen,
relationship,
hell is not some place that you go when you die. Hell is here on earth right now for Panther fans. Okay, that's hell. Considering
this
Matt
is what it
Rule
feels
is
like to
another
be in an
year.
abusive relationship, bro.
Well, we said that about Ron Rivera too, man. We're like,
No, I didn't say that about. No, Ron
I
Rivera
didn't
was
say about him.
straight, man. He was okay. Like, here's the thing about. We're not gonna. We'll argue about this on Tuesday. Ron Rivera wasn't the problem. He wasn't the problem. He may not have been as solutionist as you wanted him to be. He may not have been as a strong of an asset, like he's going to win your games. But I tell you this: is Matt Rule's part of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Rule, look, I mean, the very fact that Ron's teams win late tells you this: is that the players like him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, his halftime speech is definitely is better than Rule's.
Yeah.
I told you this, and then so look, I don't slander Rivera on this. We went backwards, and you're right. Two things can be true, but what is certainly true is Rule is a fool.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm sorry. Like, I can't. I don't like. I want to like him. I don't got nothing to like. I got nothing to be happy about, bro. Nothing.
to like. So, prayers up to Teddy Bridgewater. Hope that hope that his injury isn't terrible. Prayers up to him.
He has movement in his extremities, they said, which is good.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
All right, good. Yeah, I think he just got viciously knocked out, falling
Yeah.
back to the ground. So,
we got to get out of here.
That is it for the post game show. Until next time, Panther Nation. Until Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Keep pounding.
Go see Spy.